Good morning. My name is Annette Cannon. I'm the special magistrate assigned to hear your case today. I'm going to briefly explain the procedure for those who've never been here before. You've been cited with a violation, and you have been given time to correct the violation. The city has chosen to proceed with this hearing for the purpose of obtaining a finding of noncompliance, which can later be used at a subsequent hearing for the purpose of being deemed a repeat violation. The hearing is public, recorded, and all testimony is taken under oath. Although the formal rules of evidence do not apply, fundamental due process observed. If you're admitted to the violation, please advise me when you come to the podium. You need to tell me how much time you need to correct the violation. The city will also give me an estimate. Based on what you both say, I will give you reasonable time to correct the violation. If you're contesting the violation, the same is proved through clear and convincing evidence that the violation has occurred and or the violation is still in existence. This is done through testimony of the inspector or the custodian of records, and the inspector is not available to testify, and the exhibits introduced by the city. If you're refuting the violation, you're expected to testify as to why there is no violation. After I've heard both sides, I'll run a decision based on the evidence and testimony before me. If I find there is no violation, I'll dismiss the case. If I find that there is a violation, I will give you reasonable time to correct the violation before a fine begins to run. I have authority to impose fines up to $1,000 per day per violation. If you're a repeat offender, I have authority to impose fines up to $5,000 per day per violation. There's also an administrative fee of $108, which is assessed by me unless I waive it. When you come to the podium, please state your name, your relation to the property owner, and if you have authority to proceed on behalf of the property owner. At this time, I ask the clerk to swear in all the witnesses.
Those of you who are about to testify, please stand and raise your right hand. Attorneys are exempt from this. So the attorneys can have a seat. Attorneys can have a seat. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? I do. Thank you. You may be seated. Your Honor, before we proceed, there's two folks here. One is an attorney, the other one is just a customer who are here for, they're already here for 10 o'clock. So maybe because one of the customers says that she has to be back to work, I don't know how you want to handle it. They're 10 o'clock cases, and one is an attorney.
Okay. Who has to go back to work?
This young lady?
Why don't we take her? I don't have a problem with that.
Okay. Ma'am, does everyone go to your 10 o'clock calendar? Page 7, number 13, SMB 2020-862 for 8001 Crespi Boulevard.
Apartment 7C.
Do I have the 10 o'clock in front of me or just a 9 o'clock?
No, you got the whole agenda in front of you.
No,
oh, wait a minute. Oh, I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Oh, for Pete's sakes.
Good morning.
Good morning. Please.
Sorry.
That's okay. This is 11, but you want to give me 13, I thought. Please state your name for the record.
My name is Isabel Espinosa.
Okay. Is this a progress report today?
Yeah.
Okay.
Let me thank you first for allowing this to happen.
Of course. No worries. My pleasure. Okay, so what's going on? You had a failure to comply with the violation, commence work. Okay.
Enter email, you need to pay the money, and then we close.
Okay.
Citation.
Has the city recently inspected the property?
Have you inspected it?
Hi, Your Honor. Albert Martinez, Building Department, Mr. Structure Violations. Yes, this violation is for citation, and I sent the owner of the property yesterday an email.
Yes.
Did you receive it?
I don't know. I received
I sent you just before the hearing yesterday, and all you needed to do was pay the fine. I was pending because it was citation.
what fine?
We issued a citation for failure to comply with an open violation while the permit was in applied status. All we needed was a payment of $500. That way we could close out the citation. That's what we're here for today.
But what is the citation for?
Because they continue work after we issued the stop work order on their another case, BBC 2000492.
Yeah, but that didn't happen.
Well, we do have evidence of such in our system.
I would like to see the evidence because I have the evidence too.
Yeah.
That never happened. What happened, and I explained it through emails and verbally too to Mr. Avalos.
Avalos, okay.
That what happened is that they had knocked the bottom piece of the two doors of the cabinet to get in and clear the mold.
Okay.
And a city inspector came and saw it.
Okay. We could go over that at some other time, and I could go over the pictures and so forth with you. We could set an appointment, and we could go over that for sure.
But you said to get it over, you pay $100 and
No,
get
no,
it over with?
it's
No,
$500.
Mr. Martinez, let me just try to ask some questions. Is the violation in compliance now?
No, at this moment, no. The citation.
Okay, so
They are in compliance as of this
No,
morning?
no, at this moment, no. They need to
I
pay.
was looked this morning, it's still not in compliance.
No, no,
Okay, what does she need to get in compliance?
to pay the $500 for the citation, and that'll close out the citation, the case.
So it's a $500 fine, and then once she pays it, she's in compliance?
Correct.
It was a red tag then?
Yes, we were asking for payment, basically.
Okay.
That never happened, Your Honor.
no, there was a violation that was issued, and because there was a violation that was issued because work was being done while the permit was being processed, it was in applied status, the building department charges a $500 fine. Once that fine is paid, the case is closed.
I understand that, but we explain it, and not only me, but Ace, with the company that came to clear the mold, they explain it too. And it's not the cabinet have been removed, it's just 2 doors to go behind and clear the mold. And we explain it so many times, and
There
then
was, there was work done without, there was a permit being applied, and the work started before the permit was issued.
there was no work. That's what it been,
Then why was there a permit?
because we were trying to fix the violations.
That's the reason why you got the $500 red tag. Because the work started before that permit was in final status.
There's pictures that show that work was done. They submitted pictures with their violation. I don't know if you saw the pictures, but it shows construction being done.
No, it's 2 doors removed in order to get in and clear the mold, because my house was full of mold and still is. And $500 to me is a lot of money living in the conditions that I'm living on now.
I
The water
understand that.
still seeping in. I have an infestation of no seams, and I've been using Clorox, ammonia, whatever it comes, but I still cannot live in the place. It's horrible. I have pictures, and I have so many proofs. I don't get it. And then I brought an exterminator yesterday, and he said that he could fumigate, but it's going to come back in 45 days because of the exposure of the pipe with the hot water. Is right there. Look, this is it, okay? This is creating all kinds of pests in my house, and I have to live like this because the city of Miami Beach is not doing anything. It's not enforcing the associations. It's not only one set of associations. We have gone through so many, and nothing has been done. And the city of Miami Beach is the only one that could make that happen.
Okay,
If you
I
don't
have no-
close, if you don't force them, if you don't find them, if you don't put a violation on their door, they're not going to do anything.
We're limited to what we can enforce. and
What
we
I'm
enforce it.
limited to. I have to live like this.
Okay, all I'm going to suggest at this moment is that you need to meet with the city to go over it. It's your position that they're telling you that you have to pay the $500 to be in compliance. I don't know the history of it. I wasn't given the history. It's their position that you did work without a permit. So if you have otherwise, I suggest that you set up a meeting with the city and go over it with them, and we can come back here and see if you guys come to an agreement. Otherwise, I don't have anything that shows, the pictures I was given show that there's been work done. Okay, you're telling me it's just a door, 2 doors. It looks like a lot more than that. Any problems that you're having with the condo association, I have no control over that. That's not
Right.
before me. I'm only looking at your unit. So I suggest that you meet with the city and come back here in a month. If there's any administrative fees today, I'll waive it so that we can come back.
If I may,
Yes,
the
okay.
citation was
Yeah.
originated because of a previous violation. They did apply for a permit, and that permit is in abandoned status.
Okay.
So not only that, they haven't complied with this citation, but also with a violation for the kitchen cabinets.
Okay, so you did apply for a permit, so it was for something, but then you abandoned the permit. You didn't do anything with it.
That's the guy that run with my $1,500.
You mean you hired somebody and then
I
he?
hired 3 people,
Hey.
Your Honor. None of them can be able to do anything because of the water keep on falling through the walls.
Okay, so you're saying you paid them, they didn't do the work, and they took your money? And do you have
Yes.
those checks to show that you paid them?
I have a check
Okay.
of that person, and I have 3 estimates to it. It's just,
We want to work with you, but understand they're just doing their job. If they get a phone call that you're doing something, you don't have a permit, or your permit abandoned, you did something, they're just following up. They're not trying to target you, they're just doing their job.
okay, so we'll talk. Now, the next thing that I need to do is I need to close the walls. And I don't know if I need a permit.
Perhaps,
to move it.
ma'am, what we can do is we could have the building, Mr. Martinez can arrange for a courtesy inspection to meet you at the unit so that he could look at your unit and the roof and any of the other common elements and take the appropriate action.
Right.
Yeah, but my question is, can I close at least the bedroom?
You can only pull a permit for your unit. So
That's
if
what I'm
you-
saying.
So if your ceiling is damaged and it's damaged above your, whatever the division
whole
in your
apartment.
declaration of condominium is, you can't pull a roofing permit. You can only pull an interior permit to do your
I
ceiling.
understand, but I'm talking on about my bedroom, because the other side,
Well,
it seems like.
I think it's best if, rather than discuss it here, we have a room full of people, we called you
Okay.
out of turn. Mr. Martinez is gonna meet with you at the unit, he'll go over it, he'll give you suggestions as to what needs to be done and what you can pull.
Okay.
And Your Honor, we just need a date. I think January's pretty full for Cindy.
January, February, the first availability is March 24th.
All right, do March 24th then.
For a
Okay.
progress report,
Yes, yes.
do you want to waive today's?
Sure.
Yes.
And she, just to let her know, she had a hearing on April 22nd, 2021, and she was assessed $106, just to
I'm
let
not
her know.
going to change that.
No, I know, but I want to let her know that because I know she wasn't aware of the 500. So,
Oh, I didn't know, okay, 106.
Yeah, every time you come before special magistrate, there's a fee. There's
Okay.
$108. It used
And
to be.
today too?
Today's being waived,
I
ma'am.
waived it
Okay,
today.
thank you.
Okay, but you're coming back in March, and I hope by then we have some resolution, because I can't keep continuing it.
Yes,
Okay.
we are.
Okay, thank you.
do you want to call the other attorney, Your Honor, for the 10 o'clock or?
Okay, I
Okay.
appreciate that. Thank you.
Okay, back to 9. Page 1, number 2, SMB 19-266 for 301 Jefferson Avenue. Your Honor, they're here for a mitigation.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Cesar Mestre on behalf of the owner.
How do you spell your last name?
Mestre, M-E-S-T-R-E.
Thank you.
Did you do a request for mitigation form? I'm just looking for it.
That was filed before I was involved, but I believe there was.
It's there.
It is?
You want me to look?
No, I'm looking. This is number 2, right? Okay, I'm looking.
SMB 266?
Okay.
Ma'am, were you sworn in?
Yes, she was.
Oh, okay, you're with.
Okay, I just see it right here. All right, let me see. Okay, whenever you're ready.
Thank you. I have a binder here with some information if you would like to see it. And I know, just to make it short, this was originally for work done without a permit back in 2018. The owner of this property lives in Argentina and hasn't been in this country since the end of 2018. In 2019, and around December, they were trying to sell the property, and they found out about the lien. They immediately contracted contractors to prepare plans. That's what this is. These are all the emails going back and forth that they immediately took steps to correct everything. The first application was submitted in March of 2020. That's when the pandemic hit. They received comments on those plans a few months later. They were diligent in following up with that and correcting it. It has been corrected, has been closed. My argument is, obviously, these fines are for compliance, not for punishment. Right now, the last time I saw, the fine was at $65,000. So we would request that they not be penalized. I'm not saying the city didn't do or comply with the notice requirements, but since my client is from out of the country, they never received any actual notice. It was posted properly, it was sent via certified mail, but they didn't receive notice until they came and did a lien search, found out about it, and immediately took the
So
steps
give
that
me
they
a little
needed.
bit of history. When did they purchase the property?
They purchased the property in 2011,
Okay, and then they last were here in what year?
2018, which was the last time that it was rented. At that time, they contracted somebody to come and do some renovations. They told, and I have an affidavit from my client, do everything legally, do everything the way you're supposed to. They did the work. There happened to be an inspector at the building in December of 2018 who came into the unit for a fire alarm, I believe, and noticed all the work. The apartment was empty at that point, has continued to be empty to this day.
Okay,
And then when they went to sell it in December of 2019, 1 year later, is when they find out about the lien. And immediately, within weeks, they hire contractors to do the plans and submit the applications to correct the situation.
how much did they spend in getting into compliance?
About $35,000.
Okay,
That's part of this binder as well, the contracts and the payments.
okay. So they haven't paid anything yet towards this violation?
They have not paid any fines towards this violation, that is correct.
Okay, this is a one-bedroom unit, it's a very small unit, I
Yes.
see. And I saw that it was posted, but again, they don't live here and it was vacant, so they probably
Correct.
didn't.
And-
It was proper notice, but they never got notice.
That's correct. The city complied with their notice requirements,
Right.
but my client never actually had notice, and I've spoken to them to correct that situation. If you have property here, you have to have somebody responsible for
Yeah.
doing that stuff. So they realize that, so we just would like something a little more reasonable
I
regarding
understand.
to the fine.
How many times were they in front of special master?
Once, twice. Today's the second time.
So it's really one time.
The first hearing was July the 25th, 2019.
Okay, that's
And
when
they
there was,
have
that's
they
when.
paid the $500, Carla?
I'll tell you right now. No, they're pending. The $500 fees are pending.
It's still pending, okay. Is there
Yes.
anything the city wants to add to their testimony?
Well, they comply with the building violation, and we issued the affidavit of compliance with the case.
Okay. All right, I'm gonna reduce the fine to the $500 red tag plus whatever the court costs were for the one hearing.
Which is $100.
Okay, so $600 total to be paid in 30 days, which would be, let's see, January 18th.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Have a good day.
Hold on, Your Honor.
There's a 9:30, yeah.
Okay. Alrighty. Page 3, number 5, SMB 2020, 696 for 5700 Collins Avenue. Your Honor, they're here to request an extension of time to comply, which was timely, And they also want to challenge the affidavit of noncompliance.
Good morning.
Good morning, Your Honor. Ramon Palacio, counsel for Seacoast 5700 condominium, a 172-unit residential condominium.
Excuse me, what's your last name again? I'm sorry.
Palacio, P-A-L-A-C-I-O. We're here on a request for an extension of time on the case just cited concerning a 50-year recertification, as well as a more recent November 12th notice of intent to levy fines for the same violation and case numbers. As a brief chronology, on July 22nd, 21, the association provided to the building department an engineer's letter with the same date, certifying the building as safe to occupy while repairs were undertaken, and I have a copy of that letter with me.
Okay, perfect.
On August 18th, as soon as the engineer's plans and specifications were ready, the association submitted its permit to the city. On August 25th, while the permit was pending, the association submitted its request for extension of time to comply, which is why we're here today. The permit application made its way for approval through the permit review, building review, public works, fire, and structural departments during the months of September and October. And October 21st, the permit was issued and the contractors went to work. Earlier this week, in advance of today's hearing, submitted an engineer's updated letter dated December 2nd. I have a copy of that as well. And the engineer has certified that approximately 90% of the work has already been completed of the structural repairs. And the remaining 10% is in the parking garage, which is the separate structure. The engineer estimates the time for completion as 4 months and certifies that the structures are safe to occupy while the repairs are completed. In short, the association is working diligently towards completing the work. 90% has already been done, and the association is requesting retroactive abatement of the $200 fine that has been levied as of September 4th for failure to comply, and to allow sufficient time for the work to be completed.
So I have an order that's dated September 23rd, where you request to stop the fines was granted September 23rd, and that the previously imposed fine of $150 per day shall stop running as of September 23rd, and that today be a progress report. So I don't even have a new compliance date, by the way. I don't know what you're operating
Okay,
under.
what I have is an order stating that
What's the date of your order?
it was levying a fine of $200 per day as of September 4th, and that date.
Okay. But then you guys must have come in front of Special Master on September 23rd, because that was changed.
That was before my time, I'm not aware.
Do you want to
Okay.
see this order?
Certainly, if I may approach.
Three.
Isn't that after your order? Because I don't, right?
I didn't take the case, Your Honor.
It's okay. But Carla, do you have the same thing as I do?
So that notice references a $150 fine per day. The order that I'm referencing has a $200 per day, starting September 4th.
Okay, well, I don't have fines running. You guys
I
want
have
to
fines
confirm?
running.
Yeah.
The fines should not be running, because on September 23rd, Chief Special Magistrate Zamora granted the violator's request to stop the fines on September 23rd.
September 23rd?
Yeah, unless I'm looking at the wrong order, it says
Don't see that.
Carriage House Condo Association. Am I looking at the right thing?
I'm sorry,
this
which
is
association?
Seacoast.
This is Seacoast 5700.
You want me to look in that file?
Are we doing number 3?
5.
We're doing number 5. SMB 2020-696.
That could be it.
That could be it.
Today's your day. Last week was mine.
Okay, I obviously have, I'm so sorry.
That's fine.
That you were like excited. You thought you had was there an easy one? All right, let me start that again.
Sure.
I have to now put all my notes for the wrong one. Let's see. Okay, so yes, I see that September 6, 2021. The fines I have is $18,000 so far. Is that what you have?
I have not done the math. We're asking for retroactive abatement as of September 4th, so that the association has time to complete the remaining repairs.
18,800.
Your Honor, was the
Your Honor, may I
request,
say?
was the request made before the fine started to run?
That's what I'm gonna look at, right?
I'm gonna tell you right now,
Because I know,
in a minute. Well, I didn't file the lien because of their request. He made the request on 8/25/2021.
And when was the compliance date?
September 6th.
And I did write on here, his request was,
And I'm looking for it. Is it in my file? Because you're reading it, but I remember I entered the order on March 8th saying that there should be compliance September 4th. And you're saying you have an email requesting additional time to comply prior to that?
I have a copy of the correspondence submitted if Your Honor would like to see it.
Sure, because apparently I don't have it, or I'm looking,
September 8th, the case.
at least I have the right file in front of me this time. Thank you. Are you submitting this into evidence, or you just want me to see it? Okay. Okay, so on August 25th, let's see. Okay. So it was timely requested, additional time, it was timely requested. You want to enter this into evidence?
Your Honor, may I add something?
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
Nervous today.
They did comply by applying for the permits, but our standards of procedure is they have to submit engineers' reports, and based on these reports, which we've never received, they apply for the permits, electrical and structural. So in my opinion, I mean, like, they're partially complied by applying for the permits, but we needed those reports from the engineer to be reviewed under the 40-year permit, and we've never received them.
Sure, Your Honor, then, based upon the testimony of the city's witnesses and what counsel has proffered, the request for more time should be granted, and obviously there's no fines going to be running, but since the property is not in full compliance and they need to submit these engineers' report, the city would request that a new compliance date be set so that these reports can be submitted and the appropriate permits obtained to correct any deficiencies and the violation linked to the permits.
I agree. So the only fines that are running right now were from it's from that date, from the date September 4th, right?
Right, so those would be vacated.
Right, okay. So I'm going to go ahead, grant additional time to comply. Maybe I should.
Do you want me to stop these fines and then?
I'm
grant them?
going to just retract the fines or. what-
Vacate the
Thank you.
fines.
I'm definitely having moments today. Vacate the fines. Grant additional time to comply. And so you said you need 4 months?
4 months is what the engineer has estimated.
Your Honor, the city would request that it be done within 30 days to get the reports in. This is a 50-year recertification.
Yes, the structure has already been completed, the concrete restoration repairs. It's now the parking garage, and the residents have been special assessed for funding the parking garage repairs because of change orders and so forth, the cost overruns. And that's why the additional time is required in order to obtain the funding for the pending repairs.
But they can't get an engineer report in the interim because you have all these engineer letters, but
We have the engineer's letters, and anything else that's requested of the engineer, we can certainly obtain.
they want a report from the engineer.
Has the engineer submitted to the building department that it's safe for its continued occupancy?
Yes,
Yes.
we have an EOR 11 for safer occupancy, for our continued use.
You have, I'm sorry, what?
An EOR 11, that's our internal codes that we use.
Okay.
So that's all right. What we do need is a structural and electrical reports of the current status of the building itself, of the property.
Short-term,
The current status of the property, the electrical and structural reports.
very good. We can certainly
You
obtain.
don't have to wait until, it's the repairs have been done or whatnot. We want to see the current status at the moment right now.
Very good, we'll get that to you.
So you have until January 18th to submit the engineer report,
Okay, thank you very much.
okay? If not, the fines will start.
Very well. And there is that second notice that we received. It seems to be a duplicate. November 12th, same case number, same violation, notice of intent to levy.
What?
I don't know, you said there's another notice?
This, we
And that
added,
would be the order to impose the fines
Fines,
because
that's-
you were
Okay.
in non-compliance. But the affidavit of non-compliance is being stricken.
Right.
Because the order,
was vacated.
your request came in before the fines started running, so that was the proper procedure.
okay, it just seemed to be a duplicate, and we requested that it be heard today as an add-on, just to make sure that we've covered both.
It is,
It is.
Wonderful.
it is.
Thank you very much.
Sorry for the
And the rate,
confusion.
Cindy's gonna need the rate for the
$200,
non-compliance.
that's what was originally imposed.
$200 per day?
Right.
And that would be as of January 18th if we do not provide the
Engineer's
interim report.
Yep,
And the time for full compliance, for completion of the work, is there a date set, or is that open?
I don't think they need that
No, no,
for,
based on the reports, once you have done, if, let's say the report is unsafe and some issues going on, so minor repairs, unsafe in a sense, then they will require those permits that you say you have to get them corrected. Once you get finals on those permits, you need to resubmit another report saying the current status of the property, and then you'll get your 40-year certified for the next 10 years of follow-up.
Okay,
Okay, then that's when you get full compliance.
thank you very much. Thank you.
These are structural and electrical reports.
Got it.
Inspection reports by the engineer.
But
Got
you
it.
get your engineer record.
Yeah, just to clarify, yeah.
Thank you very much.
thank you.
Okay. Page 4, number 7, SMB 2020-773, for 1751 Collins Avenue. Your Honor, they're scheduled for progress report.
Okay. Please state your name for the record.
Good morning. My name is Devin Vickers with Greenberg Traurig. Office is located, I'm sorry,
The name again?
Devin Vickers.
V?
Yes, ma'am, Vickers. With offices located at 333 Southeast 2nd Avenue. I'm here today standing in for my colleague Alfredo Gonzalez, representing the property owner today. Today we are giving a progress report on this site, and or my colleague rather, was here in July giving a progress report, and since that time, we have applied for a building permit. We have the process number for that building permit. As of the July special magistrate hearing, the building official also requested that we submit an engineering report. Even though the building is non-operational and not open to the public and has been non-operational since the start of COVID, which was in March of 2020, the building official wanted a engineering report to confirm that the building was in no imminent danger of collapse and would be in no imminent danger to the public, to which we submitted that engineering report. And so as of today, we would request the special magistrate set a 6-month progress report 6 months from today. So by that time, we expect that our building permit for this 3-hotel project, which includes this property as well, will be issued.
Okay. Does the city want to add anything?
Yes, the permit that they applied, pulled has expired, and no action has been done since February of 2020.
Which permit are you referring to?
BC 180-6497. And also for the 40-year, it's still missing the electrical report.
You already left 17, that's vacant, so it's, it's not an imminent collapse for the public.
So we're okay? Okay.
Vacated.
What's the case number?
We have that letter.
Yes, we have it on record now. Sign and seal.
I would have to go back and look at those permits. It was my understanding that once the building permit for the master site was issued, all of our outstanding permits would kind of follow under that permit. And I was under the impression that any outstanding permits as far as electrical were closed out as well.
Not necessarily like that. It depends if it's the same scope of work, then yeah, they will extend the
don't
premise
have
and
the
support. But if it's a
SMBs.
different scope of work, different contractor, different bids and whatnot, they will extend in that sense.
Okay,
The address?
Timelines.
okay, I would have to go back and look at that. I know that Alfredo has been in extensive communication with the building official and Anna, and so I'm not aware of any outstanding permits that haven't been closed out at this point.
Tell Carbonell, or Fred, or who's the?
Alfredo.
Tell him that permit, the permit number he gave you, is expired. He needs to renew it. You know, whoever's in charge of the contract to renew it. And they also need to submit the electrical report.
Okay,
Under the 48, yeah.
Yeah, we want to see the conditions of the electrical system in the building. We need-
okay, if you don't mind, could you say that permit number, the outstanding permit number one more time?
BC 1806497.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so I assume by that time, in 6 months, not only will we have the building permit issued, but the master building permit, I'm assuming, won't be issued until we have these outstanding permits closed out, and so I believe the 6 months would be more than enough time to.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with reconvening in 6 months, only because it is vacant, it's secure, and so I don't think there's any harm that could be done. So we'll come back, let me see, in June 9th.
Perfect.
Okay.
Thank
Progress
you.
report. You're welcome.
That's a progress report, right? That's
Yes.
Progress report from June.
Progress report.
Okay. Page 5, number 9, SMB 21, 970 for 1341 Meridian Avenue. They made a request for an extension of time and to stop the fines, and both requests were timely, Your Honor. At this point, the fines were supposed to run on September the 27th at $100 a day, and as of today, I do not have an affidavit of noncompliance, just to let you know.
Okay, all right. Good morning. Please state your name for the record.
Morning, Your Honor. Alexis Hernandez from Gody de Bosa and Cross on behalf of the association. So this fine comes from December 2020. The association has been taking multiple steps to remedy this defect, starting with immediately obtaining an engineer who went, inspected the property, gave us a report. We discovered that the cause of this fine comes about from a complaint from Unit 205 that was having cracks in its unit. After our investigation, our engineer determined that this was a result of work done without authorization by the unit owner below Unit 105. We've been trying to work with that unit owner to fix the problem. We have not been successful, so the association brought me along. We sent the contractors who did that work a 558 notice. We had to wait the statutory period without doing any work to give them time to come do their inspection. They did. Yesterday afternoon, they came back, just rejected liability completely. We already have a contractor in place, a third-party contractor in place that's going to come and do the work. We just needed the extension of time because we needed to wait that statutory period. The engineer has prepared his reports. We have the plans ready to go. The engineer also prepared a letter after his review that the structure is not in danger of collapse. This is just one beam that's causing a little sagging in the unit above, but it's not a danger. That documentation has been provided to the city. So we just need some time to be able to just complete the work. We ask until the end of March, just because this is the holidays and there are some delays in the building department.
Okay, does the city want to add anything to that?
Sure, yeah. We're still missing an engineer's report to show the extent of the damage and what type of permits that need to be pulled.
You have the report with you that shows the, okay.
Tabitha, were you sworn in?
No, I wasn't. I was gonna say.
You swear or affirm the testimony about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes,
Thank you.
you're welcome. All right, I brought extra.
You have I have 2 copies as well.
Yeah.
This was what, he tells what's in here.
For this case?
This was the payment.
So you don't have enough for you,
This is the whole permit package.
Oh, I did created it.
We have the things in
I
place
just
to
created
start,
another
we just
one
couldn't
because
sign
you
it
don't
until
say
they
when.
responded.
Let's try to do it quick. And
The only reason we're
Can
asking
you- can you
for
email it
March
to
is
me?
because of the permitting process.
can you email it to me, because it's digitally signed?
Case number's here.
Here's my card. Send me an email on that. That's what we're requesting, at least for now, because we don't have it on the record.
No, I'll send it to you.
And we'll go over the whole thing.
Oh, do you need these?
No,
What I have are the bids for the work.
no, that's between your bids with the contractor.
Yeah, and this engineer went over this to make sure that this will comply.
We need the report for now.
Yeah,
Not the plans, did we give them,
I believe they have it, yeah.
You guys have the plans?
No, submit that for permits.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Well, I
submit
see.
that for permits.
Okay.
Are you guys satisfied with what she gave you?
Yeah, she has to email it, but since it's digitally signed, so I gave her my business card, and she's gonna send me the engineer's report, which is what we
Okay,
made and required for now.
So I'm gonna give you a 90-day compliance date, and you compliance date because you've asked for additional time complied. Does the city have any objection to that?
No, Your Honor, city does not object to the granting of the extension of time and the stopping of fines.
Okay, well, the fines never stopped, so never started.
Okay,
So I'm gonna grant an extension of time. The new compliance date will be March 21st. And if you're not in compliance then the fines will start. Let me see what the previous fines were supposed to be.
It was $100 a day, I believe.
100, yeah, so if you're not in compliance by March 21st, then $100 a day will be started.
Okay.
March 31st.
24.
Okay, good luck.
Thank you, Your Honor.
You're welcome.
It's nice to see you again.
Okey-dokey. Page 2, number 3, SMB 19, 523 for 5401 Collins Avenue. Oh, there she is.
Right down on
The
the
right
table.
file, yeah,
They're
yeah.
here for progress report.
I scribbled all my notes out.
No worries.
Please state your name for the record.
Good morning. My name is Christine Santisteban. That is spelled Santisteban from the law firm of Siegfried Rivera on behalf of our association, Carriage House Condominium Association.
and we all know the fine stopped on September 23rd.
I believe we all know, yes.
Oh, got that cleared.
Oh, Gabby. Gabby Simone, yeah.
Okay. Good morning, Special Magistrate. We are here with regard to the violation US 2017-02184. The association was issued a violation for work done within the hallway without a permit. Upon notice, the association promptly engaged a permit expediter to cure the violation, and it was the association's understanding that in January of 2021, they had cured and finalized that permit. When we came to a hearing on September of this year, we were also informed that while the initial permit was cured and finalized, there were 3 other violations: a plumbing, a framing, and an electrical violation. After the hearing, we promptly gathered all the documents necessary, and in speaking to the previous building inspector, Mr. Ibrahim, I think is?
Abraham, yeah.
Alvarez, he confirmed that the violations for the framing and the electrical were in fact cured. All that remained was plumbing. The association has had some difficulty locating their plumber who did the work, but they did finally get a hold of him, and it is my understanding that a permit has been submitted for an after-the-fact permit for the work necessary for the plumbing to cure that violation.
There's still one permit, BC 180-7413. It had been issued back in 2019, and no inspections or nothing had been done ever
What is
since.
it for?
That's the master, but you said you had a plumbing permit, right?
No, we did not have a plumbing permit, which is why we were told last hearing to go cure the 3 violations that remained, which were plumbing, electrical, and framing.
Okay.
Framing
Framing
and
on
and
the
electrical were under the master, and that was cured. So we were told to go ahead and submit an after-the-fact permit for the plumbing, which it is my understanding was done this week.
Well, related to the violation, we have permit BC 1807413.
Uh-huh,
That is still issued, but it's going to expire on March 17, 2022.
okay.
If you're going to submit those trades, they'll be related only those.
We can travel under that permit that's expired? Okay, this is the first I've heard of this, Your Honor. I will relay that to my client and the association, and perhaps we can just travel under that permit as I'm being informed, and we'll cure this violation promptly.
So wait, I just thought you said that that permit's gonna expire on March 22nd, 2022, or it already expired?
22, no, it's not going to expire yet. It's going to expire on the 22nd, but she's adding that trades need to be involved, then they'll be under that master permit. So
Right.
you'll pull it under that master permit.
Yeah, every trade sub-permit have to be applied for under our master
Master
alteration. So the master, there was neglected, it needs to be call for inspection and final.
So BC 1807413 is a master permit, is what
That's the
you're
master
saying?
permit you have open at the moment,
We can travel under that for the plumbing?
on the trades, correct.
Okay.
The one
I-
we talked about before was BC 17039.
75, and that one has been finalized.
That's okay, that's all
Okay.
right.
So then, rather than coming back, I think you should just be able to have a compliance date under the master permit, which would be March 22nd, because that's when it expires.
Okay.
Okay, so March 22nd, 2022 will be your compliance, your new compliance date.
Okay.
Otherwise, a fine of $150 a day will run.
Okay. Perfect. Thank you so much. And can I have your cards? Because I've been trying to get a hold of Mr. Alvarez, and he doesn't answer emails, office number. Let me guess, he's gone.
Retired.
He's just out for a few days.
Yeah, and
Okay.
we're really backed up, so we're trying to catch up with.
Cindy, what was the compliance date again? I'm sorry, I forgot.
What was that?
March 22nd,
Thank
or
you.
$150 a day.
So, Your Honor, from the prior one, hold on, I want to see something.
This is a progress report.
Right, and so the prior,
There was a prior compliance date they requested previously that, to stop the fines. It was stopped.
right.
Now I'm going to give a new compliance date.
Oh, you don't want wiping out, nothing.
There's nothing to wipe out.
Okay,
Yeah.
gotcha. Good, just checking.
Now, Cindy, I think is talking about the prior case, right?
No, I'm talking
Oh,
about this.
this one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's
Okay, I
fines
just
of
wanted to check.
$37,000, but once they get into compliance, we can discuss mitigation with them.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome.
Have a great day. Happy holidays.
Thanks, you too.
It's my turn. What's wrong with me? Okay, page 2, number 4, SMB 19618 for 900 Eucalypt Avenue. Your Honor, on this case, there are fines running. I hadn't changed the status on that, and they're requesting to stop the fines in an extension of time to comply.
Okay, good morning.
Hello. Hi. Okay.
Please state your name for the record.
My name is Nikita Makanov.
Say it again?
Nikita Makanov.
And what is your relation to the property?
Well, I'm husband of the owner. Yeah, Lena Makanov. She went to the home.
You're the owner representative?
I'm
Oh,
her husband.
cousins?
I'm
I'm
her
s-
husband.
Oh, husband?
Yeah.
Just husband? Okay.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, nothing more than that. That's it. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, it's kind of complicated, but I'll try to make it short. Okay, so my wife bought this apartment in October 2019, October. And this violation has been officially issued on April 23rd, I think, 2019. So the violation was existing when she bought the apartment. But this violation, for some reason, didn't show up on land search that was done by the title company. And they say that they requested the information for the violations from City of Miami Beach. But it wasn't there, just saying like that there was no violation, like no existing violations, none. So after that, we've been trying to get a permit for the AC that was installed on the back balcony. And we did the plans, we submitted them, but we got the comment that this AC unit, the condenser unit, should be removed from the balcony and put somewhere else, like on the roof or on the parking lot. And so now, with the engineer, we're trying to figure out where we can relocate this condenser, AC condenser. And so with the listing agent helps us with this. So we're trying to figure out, they doing the site plan now, because city required that, and the property manager said that he doesn't want AC unit on the roof. So we're trying to find a spot on the parking lot. And, well, basically that's what we're doing, and if city could give us some help, like where the best spot to put this AC that that you would be okay with, that would be great. And so we're doing the drawings right now.
Okay, so I see that the violation was issued April 23rd, 2018. You guys bought October 19, 2019. But
Exactly.
since that time, you've been before Special Master quite a bit because,
Yeah, no, because well, basically it wasn't our fault. It wasn't in Leon search. It wasn't anywhere in the documents. So the listing agent agreed to help us because they didn't disclose this at the time of the purchase. So they've been helping us with the engineer, and we're going back and forth. We're trying to find a spot where we can move it. Maybe we're trying to figure out maybe we can move it on another balcony. There is another balcony on the front of the building, and there are other AC units, AC condenser units on other balconies installed, and they seem pretty okay. The city, pretty okay with it.
That's pretty much planning and zoning, mainly on the loads and the balconies and whatnot, but that has to go through a permit for review, structural,
Yeah.
mechanical, electrical.
Yeah, of course, yeah. Just, we submitted the documents, and they said that we need to relocate it, but we don't know where, because, so that.
You gotta coordinate with your contractor, your mechanic contractor, and your building contractor, coordinate with them and see what revisions they gave you from planning. Why was it failed on 7/27/2021?
Yeah, because there should be a setback from the, another property line.
But he's gotta coordinate on the plans, submit them again, and get the permission.
Yeah, that's what we're doing now. We're doing the site plan, because we don't have a site plan. Property management didn't give us any drawings at all.
Planning failed it back in July because of the setbacks, like you mentioned.
Yeah,
But-
exactly.
but no corrections or no,
How long do you think?
Nothing
we'll
have been-
Get that in?
I hope that 6 months would be enough, because, we need to also relocate, like, physically, so we need to take it downstairs or to the other balcony, and again, it takes some time and costs money. So, and first we need to do the drawings, and we need to submit them, and we get some maybe new comments, and, it all takes time, all these comments, answering the comments, going back and forth with the city.
It's up to the.
I mean, this has been going on for quite some time. And your compliance dates keep changing. You had April 8th, let's see. First you had February 15th was a compliance date, then you asked for additional time, then April, additional time was given, then you had given August 9th was your compliance date, and you still, we're talking about an AC unit. It's
Can I give a little history of a background? I just stepped out to use the bathroom. I'm not sure if my spouse actually mentioned it. Original violation dates back to April 2018.
Right, April 23rd, 2018. I'm
Yes,
familiar with
we purchased unit in October 2018. We got notified about violation in May 2019. And
2020.
19.
Okay.
And then lien search was done, no violation was disclosed, so we were absolutely unaware. So when we got notification, we contacted seller and his agent. So they were trying to resolve that up into 2020. 2020, once we got an engineer, she refused to do job because she said, I'm not gonna go in the building, I'm not gonna do any physical work, I'm not gonna do any measurements because of COVID. So then,
because of COVID.
all 2020 was a loss, pretty much. And now we are back to ground zero in 2021, trying to resolve it all over again.
Well, the worker requires no physical at the moment. The worker requires to get the permits issued, the mechanical permit. So
Well, that's what I'm saying. We were working with one engineer, and she refused to do her job in the middle of the process.
we were open during the COVID times, only digitally, not physically. So
Yeah, and we submitted the documents, we submitted the drawings, but we got the comment that we need to relocate it, but we don't
Yeah, I
know
see.
where.
on
And,
7/29.
Yeah, and this engineer said that she's no longer
Well,
doing this.
She basically
If it's
quit
a
her job
relocation.
in the middle of
Yeah.
the process.
I'm going to give 90 days as the final compliance date. I'm not going to grant any more extensions. I'm going to put it in the order. It's the final extension, okay? This has been going on for although it happened prior to you buying the property, you inherit whatever problems you have, unfortunately, when you buy a property. So it's going to be March 21st is your final compliance date. Put it in the order, it's the final compliance date.
And the request to stop fines is granted?
Yes.
Is it possible to have kind of maybe a meeting with somebody from the city, so we can talk about where we should relocate it, where the best spot for that?
You could have the meeting with the city, but nothing will be resolved in that sense, because you will need your contractor to coordinate with submittals.
Yeah, no, of course.
So we could take action on it. And
Yeah, of course, they will do the drawings, but we
or
need
recommendations,
Yeah, but can we get your recommendations, maybe?
Well, you can go to the city website, schedule a virtual meeting through Cubatic with the planning department, and they will tell you where.
Okay.
The location of where the unit is not part of the building department, that's a planning function. So you need to reach out to the planning department to see where they will let you install that unit.
Okay, so just go on the website, or is it some kind of email?
City
we can
website.
contact this
Again,
department person?
well, go to the city website, planning webpage, and you should see a link to schedule an appointment.
Okay.
Okay, so you'll have a new compliance date, okay? It's gonna be March 21st. If not, $200 a day fines will start, okay? Okay, so just do whatever you need to do now. Okay.
Thank you.
Okay.
Okay. Alrighty. Page 4, number 8, SMB 2020-822 for 708 Pennsylvania Avenue. Your Honor, they're requesting an extension of time, which was timely. And also, they made a request to challenge the non-compliant.
I think that's the theme today. Okay, please
Good
state
morning,
your
Your
name
Honor.
for the record.
Good morning, Your Honor. John Bennett, representative for the owner. Happy holidays to you all. Good morning.
Have a lot.
Okay, let's see. When was the request for additional time to comply?
Pardon?
You said they asked for additional time to comply?
Yes, their request was timely, Your Honor.
When was the
Okay,
request
let me
made?
get into the case. One moment, please.
What is the violation for?
It was issued for installation of exterior doors without permits.
August the 13th, 2021.
Okay, what was the original date of the violation? Let's see,
10/12/2015.
10/4/2015?
10/12/12, sorry,
2015?
2015.
Explain that, Your Honor.
Okay, so we're going on 7 years now, or 6 years.
Yeah.
I'm not that inclined to give additional time. What is going on?
On the matter of this particular violation, there is a permit that was applied for. We've been through contractors and engineers and contractors and engineers. Permits were submitted in October for this. You
Well,
see that?
hey, I'll tell you what we searched in our system for
Sure, of
this
course.
morning. The process number you have is not a permit, it's a process number.
Yeah, I applied for, not a permit.
Yeah, so it's BC 2117601.
Yep, there it is.
Okay. One thing, you need to link that permit to the violation.
Oh, they did not when they.
No, and that permit was applied on
October
October
14th.
14th, 2021.
We
right?
just got back comments finally from this last week. We have to submit new engineering for fire egress, and we had submitted for impact flat doors,
Okay.
not glass. And planning and zoning section is not, they want French doors. And we are discussing with them that, because you can't see them from the street, and we're working through that. Once the permit is issued, if we are allowed to keep the flat panel doors, metal doors, the work can be done. Well, those are doors easily
So Brandon,
obtained.
let's also there for a second. If the permit's already issued, you gotta go what the specifications are in the NOAs.
Agreed, and we cannot purchase the doors until we get the
Right.
permits. So if we're able to do the doors that were applied for, the steel panel doors, then the work, once the permit is in approved status, we can get those relatively quickly. If planning and zoning doesn't allow the change and we have to purchase impact doors, then we are 8 to 12 weeks to even get doors.
If you want a suggestion,
Sure. Yes, sir.
don't throw your money out there first.
Well, no,
until
no,
you get that
you
issue.
have to get the permit issued before we can purchase
Right.
doors.
So
Correct.
get that first, and you got your NOAs in respect.
To answer your question, Your Honor, as to the 7 years, we have an active permit at this building issued in 2016, B1601432, which was for renovation of all units, which is still active. Unit by unit, they've been doing this over the years.
This is for one unit, unit number 9.
No, it's for all of them. I know what it says there, but that's not correct. You can look,
Okay.
I can go through that with you, not a problem.
Well, that has to be resolved to show the proper description.
That's fine. When you go to call for inspections, they want to see all the units. I
Right.
promise you that.
Yeah, so if it's on the plans, no problem.
Inspector Nathan
We need to
knows
correct that.
quite well. Nonetheless, the work had begun in 2016, and this violation was issued at some point after that. The contractors changed the doors. The doors were not on the permit. That's the one thing they left out of this whole process, was the doors were not on the original permit. Okay? That violation sat dormant until a year and a half ago, when Mr. Avalos reached out to me and said, hey, this is in the system, this needs to be resolved. That was just before COVID, I think. And that's the delay. When you're asking why it took so long from the issuance of this till now, there was a massive delay, and that just sat dormant for years while this work was ongoing. The contractors were on site.
But when you're saying it's sat dormant, who wasn't following up, the city or you guys? I'm trying to figure out why something lays dormant.
Both, I'll say. I mean, Mr. Avalos reached out and said, he said, look at this, you've got this whole violation tied to this. You need to resolve this. Okay. This particular, the original permit here, they've been through multiple contractors over the last 7 years, and the last contractor who's currently on was not willing to take on the doors. He says, I'm not doing it. We've been through multiple engineers and contractors. The COVID hit. We were close. We had a hearing in, was it May, I think, with you, Your Honor?
Yeah. I know, I was.
And then Champlain hit, and nobody wanted, it was difficult to find people who were willing to work on Miami Beach, because they didn't want to deal with the permitting. Nonetheless, we resolved that. We hired a local permit expediter. We found a contractor. We have permits in place. Applied for, excuse me. And we're waiting to resolve those issues so they can be applied so we can finish this. But I still do have an active permit there, expiration in 2022 for renovation of the whole building. There's no safety issues here.
We're not talking about that, Mr.
I know that, but overall, Your Honor needs to hear these things.
Okay. Does the city have anything else they want to add?
All right, just continue with the process and get that permit in there issued.
We just got the comments back last week. It took 7 weeks to get the comments.
All right, yeah, okay.
And that's not your fault, and it's not my fault.
It's not up to me to decide.
No, of course.
That's why we're here at this moment now.
We did ask for an extension of time. We were notified a couple weeks ago that fines actually has started. We received the notice. I had reached out to the clerk and asked, how do we resolve this? If Your Honor grants us more time, then the fines technically wouldn't have started.
Okay, so you're saying if I give you 60 days, you'll be in compliance?
I don't even know when they're going to issue the permits at this point. They're still in applied status with the city. We're at the mercy of the building department here, who's about to shut down for a week and a half with the holidays.
No.
More or less.
We're not going to shut down with the holidays. We're still doing active plan review, and we're still doing active inspections. And even going back to the matter of that.
I'm saying from the time they issue a permit in approved status.
We are working from home and working from the office.
Understood.
Still doing
Understood.
reviews.
I'm saying from the time they issue a permit in approved status, if they allow us to use the doors we submitted for in the first place, the steel panel, that can be resolved relatively quickly. If they say no, you're going to have to change the drawings and you're going to have to put impact glass doors, which is what they noted here. You can't even, just to purchase those takes 8 to 12 weeks. Ordering, when you say, here, I'm ready to buy them, there's delays here.
Okay.
I'm saying maybe let me get the permit, come back to you and tell you what our status is at the earliest possible date. I mean, we're working forward to try to get this resolved. We want this resolved as much as you do.
How long do you think you have the permit issued?
I don't know.
When does your master permit expire?
That expires in April, I think, of 2022. But there's ongoing work, and they keep calling for inspections. That date keeps going, because they're tackling one unit at a time. As they go vacant, they've been doing it. It wasn't a wholesale building renovation all at once. They were doing a unit at a time and taking their time. That was their choice.
Okay. I'm gonna grant extension of time,
Thank you,
additional
Your
time to comply. So if there were any fines that start running, let's vacate the fines.
Thank you, Your Honor.
You're welcome. And let's come back here for a progress report then. It sounds as if I keep giving you compliance dates, they may not be met, so I think a better approach would be to, what's the next available date, Cindy?
March 24th.
March 24th, we're gonna have a progress report, and at that point, I am gonna impose a compliance date that'll be a
Understood.
final one.
And by then,
Okay?
the permit, I expect early January, I would hope. But again, the review process, I didn't expect it to take 7 weeks here. I mean,
No,
that's not your fault, but.
No, we are pretty quick on the reviews. Gabby's even working.
No, it's speeding up, I know it is.
You
Thank you,
submit
Your
it within a week, if everything's okay, we'll have it.
Yeah, March 24th.
Happy holidays to you all.
All right, good luck, sir. Good luck.
All right, thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, page 3, number 6, SMB 2020-764 for 121st Street. Progress report, Your Honor.
Okay. Good morning.
Good morning, everyone.
State your name for the record.
Damien Gallo Jr. from Permit Doctor, 775 17th Street, representing ownership at 100 21st Street.
Okay. What's going on? It's progress report.
Yeah, this is, it's a large project. They're overhauling the entire property. We passed HPV approval from zoning, which I have the exact dates here.
So fire.
On June 15th, we just finished the DDs, design development plans, and they just started the CDs. And the architects intend to complete the package by April to submit for the building permit, which will constitute the entire property's not only proposals, but addressing all the 40-year items and violations that they had. There was a fire on the ground floor at the restaurant that's attached to the building, but it is separated. That was taken care of, meaning the fire department went in there, and we had our engineering reports certify that the space is now safe, but they're not going to renovate the space until this overall building permit is approved for the entire hotel, including all their food and beverage components. So we would, according to ownership, they sent me yesterday that they intend to file for the permit between June and May to start that permitting process once the overall CDs are done.
6 months from now?
6 months from now.
It's vacant? The whole building's vacant?
Correct. It's vacant and has a private security company, 24 hours.
Okay. The city want to add anything?
Sure. The permit pulled for the fire had expired and no inspection. It should be renewed and no inspections have been done. BC 1911589.
Okay.
I'm sure you're aware of it.
Understood. Okay, so we have a new contractor, so we'll have to do a change of contractor on that one and then get it reinstated.
That'll be great.
No problem. Yeah, we'll definitely, that we can take care of. I'll get that done this week. So I guess we're going to ask for time for a continuance if possible.
Yeah, you don't have any, all you have is progress reports, so you don't have any compliance days scheduled. So I think that we should probably wait until May or June to come back. I don't think anything's going to happen before that time. Okay, so let's see, looking at our calendar, May 12th. How about that?
Corrected. For another progress report?
Yes.
Okay.
May 12th, progress report.
What is it?
May 12.
May 12.
Okey dokey.
Okay. Thanks, Damien. Thank you.
All right, thank you, everybody. Have a great day.
You too.
Your Honor, there's only a couple of
Isn't there number 10 is the last?
no-shows for 9 o'clock.
Okay.
It's page 1, number 1, SMB 219, 265 for 1385 Baritz.
They asked for additional time. They said that they continuance for today's hearing due to family health issues. I have no objection. Do you have an objection to asking for continuance?
No objection to the request for continuance, but as far as their request for extension of time to be complied, I guess it would be deferred.
Yeah, well, they didn't. They just said, I would like to request for continuance on the property at Beard's Drive due to family health issues. I'll be out of town for a month to attend the hearing set for December 9th. I'd appreciate if you accept my request and determine the hearing date at your convenience. So they didn't ask for just not to comply. They just requested a new hearing date.
I was just
So-
reading
Oh,
what
they
the
did.
docket said.
They did. They did ask for an additional time to comply. I
Okay.
didn't get a chance to tell you folks. Just a moment.
That's why we were here for today. I mean, that's what
Correct.
the hearing was scheduled for today, was
Right.
for a
That's
request
what it-
for more
yes.
time.
Okay.
She made that request on,
But if we're continuing the hearing, then it doesn't matter, Cindy.
okay. Fines are running. But they did stop on 5/27/221.
They already stopped, is what you're saying?
Yes, 5/27/21.
Stopped or started?
They started on 2/20/2020, and they stopped on 5/27/21.
Okay, all right, let's reschedule this for March 24th, grant her additional time. Grant her request for continuance and reset it for March 24th. For progress report.
And the last one on page 6, number 10,
It was sent for posting.
should be in there. It's SMB 2021-974, page 6, number 10, 1111 Lincoln Road.
Did you
They're
guys-
requesting an extension of time.
Did you guys post it? You're doing number 10, right?
Yes,
Yeah. They asked for additional time?
yes.
Where is that request? I don't
And
have,
I don't have the affidavit of noncompliance.
okay, but I don't have that
Okay, hang
request.
on.
I don't know what you're reading from. I don't see an email in my file.
Hold on, Your Honor.
Oh, let's see.
They made the request on August 19th. Do you want me to look?
No, I found it.
Okay.
It's due to require revisions to the plans for unforeseen. We cannot complete the construction until the revision was approved by the city July 23rd. They said their new completion date should be November 30th. Does the city have any objection to that?
November 30th came and went.
Oh.
Steve, you too.
I have
Sorry.
Number 3, number 5, they're all
Yeah.
the same. Do you guys, where are they at with their inspections and their permits?
Let me see.
They have a master
They
permit.
they have a master permit issued.
Inspection February 23rd, 2022. And
Okay.
last hearing, an affidavit of non-compliance, since it doesn't have it, it should have been issued. I guess we're following up on the follow-ups, a little bit delayed and whatnot.
Okay, that's okay. Why don't we just give a new compliance date to February 22nd? Is that what you said?
That's the due date, yeah.
Okay, so that'll be the new
No,
compliance.
23rd, I'm sorry, I said 23rd, I'm sorry.
February 23rd, 2020. So I'm granting additional time to comply. February 23rd, or it'll be a fine, let me see what the original order said, of $100 a day.
What?
$100 a day. We don't need a progress report, that'll just be a compliance date.
Yeah.
Okay, that concludes 9 o'clock.
All right, let's start the 10 o'clock swearing witnesses.
Those of you who are about to testify, please stand and raise your right hand who have not been sworn in. Sir, you need to stand up. Thank you. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? Thank you. You may be seated.
On the last one, it was a posting, just make sure there was service, on the one that we had, number 10, there was a posting, is my understanding, looking at that.
It was posted?
I thought it was posted.
Ooh, well now. Hello. Was it posted, Carla? It was posted.
Yeah.
So it's considered a no-show.
Yeah, I just wanted to, thank you for that. I just wanted to make sure we noted that in the order. Thank you. I could have done that. That was very nice of you.
Maybe I ought to stay underneath this thing.
That's what I was kind of worried about. Okay, so we had proper service. It was posted. I just wanted to have that in the record, okay? Okay, let's go move on to the 10 o'clock calendar.
Okay. Your case is SMB 2021-981 for 1340 Lincoln Road, right?
Yes.
Okay, very good. That's on page 9, number 19. SMB 21-981 for 1340 Lincoln Road. Progress report.
Wait,
Good morning.
Hi, good morning. Wait, what page are you doing?
Page 9, number 19 at the bottom, Golden House Condo.
Michael Wayne Gomez, representing Golden House Condominium Association.
Michael, what's your last name?
Gomez, G-O-M-E-Z.
Hi, Mr. Gomez, how are you?
Hi, very fine, thank you.
Good. I don't have that.
What?
Where's my 10 o'clock files?
You have 10 o'clocks right here.
Those are 9 o'clock.
Didn't we, 10 o'clocks right?
No, that's 9 o'clock.
What's,
I don't know what these are. No, this is 6 o'clock.
I think because we pulled the file for the Ms. Espinosa.
I'm just not losing it, am I?
No.
we're all losing it. It's getting close to the holidays.
Thank you.
This is the last one of the year.
But we do have an engineer system.
Okay, thank you. See, it wasn't all me.
Okay, number 19.
I'm sorry, you can go on, Mr. Gomez.
I'm afraid this is a rather unique one. The condominium received notice of a violation based upon a complaint from a unit owner of mixed hot water coming out of cold water faucets. We eventually retained the services of a plumbing contractor, and it was determined that the failure was the result of a mixing valve in Unit 808's shower. This then brought forth the legal question of it's a condominium. Why is the condominium being compelled to attempt and repair the property of the unit owner? It's the declaration and the law is fairly clear that his shower mixing valve in his shower is his to repair. What also complicates this building is that it's an older building with one of those old style boilers where now in the modern world everyone else has their own little hot water heater in each unit. This is an old style boiler. So now we have cold water risers and we have hot water risers.
Oh, boy.
But still the failure was emanating from Unit 808's shower mixing valve. I made this petition aware to legal counsel for the government, hoping, praying that the violation would be transferred from the condominium to Unit 808. However, saw no relief in that department, so the association then realized that the only thing to do was to go forth and get estimates and repair. If nothing else, the problem goes away. However, Unit 808, Mr. Howard Weitzen is a cantankerous man and has not as been cooperative as we would have loved. Then when our plumber came in last week, our plumber determined that he brought the wrong mixing valve. It seems that with the configuration, he should have brought the kind of parts that would have, in order for him to be able to satisfy all the requirements of code, deal with his tub overflow valve and the mixing valve. So it's take the parts and go home. And then I am dispatched here with my hat in my hand, hoping for an extension of time in my progress report to get more time to deal with Mr. Weitzman, Unit 808, and the shower that seems to be creating so much expense and problem.
How much time do you need?
How about we give you a progress report in 90 days? That would be the ideal.
Really?
Your Honor, no objection. I think 90 days is Cindy's next available calendar anyway, and I know that this has been going on.
All right.
Your Honor, if you want, sometimes this has proven to be effective if Mr. Weitzman gets a subpoena to be here to explain why he's either uncooperative or not permitting access. That's up to counsel if he wants him here or not to address this issue, because apparently the rest of the folks in that line are having problems with their water because of what was done in Unit 808. So going back to some of the previous discussions, the association can only fix what's property is theirs, and that master pipe is theirs, but this regulator is affecting the water pipes to the rest of those units in that line.
If we fix this, crossed fingers, this may make everybody in the building happy, except the board of directors who have to pay for it, of course, but it will solve the question of code compliance issues.
Let me butt in for a second, really quick. Have you, is all these repairs your plumber, your licensed plumber, is doing this under a permit, by any chance? Or?
He has not affected any repairs yet because he has not gotten
he
back
hasn't started
his
at all?
approved. He has not.
Okay, all right.
He has not gotten back his.
All right, well, nice on legal situation.
So do you want us to subpoena, issue a subpoena?
Well, an additional fact consistent with my duty of candor, Mr. Weitzman has retained counsel. Fortunately, I know counsel, have worked on the cases, I have a good relationship with counsel, and that actually, I think, is going to make things better, not worse.
Okay.
So then let's just have a progress report in March when Cindy has the next available date.
All right, so March 24th, we'll have a progress report.
That would be fantastic.
Good luck. Nice to see you.
Thank you so much. May I be excused?
Absolutely, you're done.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Happy holidays all.
Thank you. Thank you for your patience.
Just make sure there's a permit pulled for the repairs. That's all.
Just relax.
No, when you start.
Okay. Page 6, number 11, SMB 16002 for 4833 Collins Avenue, better known as JB08 000159. It's this one, Your Honor.
Yeah, I know.
It's this big enchilada.
I see it. It's a progress report. Okay.
This is a monster.
Yeah, 00.
Oh, you're not kidding. Okay.
Good morning, Your Honor. Adrian Noda with the law firm of Greenspoon Martyr on behalf of the property owner. We're here today on Miami Beach Resort and Spa on a progress report. As you may know, this property is undergoing major renovations. All of the renovations that are undergoing at this property are all being conducted pursuant to active building permits. And the building is not occupied. It has not been occupied since 2019 when they started the renovations on the project. There is, a lot of renovations to go. The timeline, I spoke with the contractor yesterday. I believe he said about another year or two to finish up. Once all of the permits are closed and all the work is completed, the 40-year recertification will be able to be closed out. It cannot be closed out while there's open permits at the property. So all of those issues are being addressed under the permits, but unfortunately we can't close it right now due to all the active permits at the property.
City, want to respond to that?
Yes, we don't have the electrical report yet, and the structural report has a failed review.
The structural report?
Structural report,
Okay.
it failed the review, so the engineer has to resubmit another one.
Okay, I will call the contractor as soon as I get out of here.
You currently have a permit also for 2014 that's issued for the repairs you're mentioning.
Okay.
Those need to be linked also into
To the 40 year, yeah.
Okay.
So,
Your Honor, also, recently the building official, myself, and counsel, and a representative from an adjoining property brought to our attention, and the property owner of the Miami Beach Resort is going to be notified of this, but there is a wall that's in common with the north property that supports their pool deck. And the building official is requesting a letter from the engineer that it's structurally sound and does not pose a risk to the adjoining property owner that it shares the common wall. So in addition to the revisions to the structural report, the building official will be reaching out to the property owner to advise of this concern by the adjoining property owner.
Okay. So basically, just, the progress report. I don't think anything's happening quickly. It's vacant.
Right.
So I think 6 months should be, or do you want to push it out further?
Are there any board approvals that are required?
I don't know, to be honest. The contractor said yesterday, one issue may need to go to HPB. They didn't think that it was going to have to, but it may actually have to go. Something with the stairs, I believe, outside on the deck. But that hasn't been, I have to speak to the contractor about it. We're not working on that right now.
Yeah, Your Honor, if we can come back in either April or May, I think that should be enough.
Yeah.
To get
And
an
I'll have
update.
these, and I'll
Right.
talk to our client about these issues.
Talk to Anna about the wall on the north.
Yes.
Maybe, that may require.
I'm gonna call the
separate
contractor about
violation.
that right now.
That's just for your information.
No, I appreciate it. I'll let them know. I'll give them the
It's
heads up.
coming down
Yeah.
because the
Thank you.
neighbor is very concerned about that
No problem.
common wall.
Okay.
All right, let's come back May 12th for progress report then.
And Your Honor, I have another request. We have a case tonight at 6 p.m. It's the first time up, and our office requested continuance. James Rouse, the lead attorney on the case. Unfortunately, he's under the weather and is unable to attend tonight to request that in person. Can we request that now while I'm here?
Sure.
I apologize.
What number is that?
The case number is SMN 2021-00115, 605 Lincoln Road.
Okay,
Case
so-
number 40, the Upper Deck LLC.
Okay, well, I always give each side one continuance.
Yeah,
so
he's
I'll-
under the weather right now.
Okay, all right, I'll grant the continuance. Let me see when I can reset it for. Sydney, when's the next night time I can set it for?
Is that a case for us? No.
Is that January 27th?
No,
Okay.
no.
You tell me.
We can meet to the north.
February 24th.
Okay.
Yeah, February, no, wait. Yeah, I think.
Yes, because February
February
you have two.
No, I know, but I'm thinking because let's go, if push comes to shove, but February 24th is okay.
Okay, I'm going to grant continuance for February 24th.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Happy holidays, everyone.
You too. Thank you.
Thank you, Steve.
Okay, Okay, page 8, number 15, SMB 21962 for 6881 Indian Creek Drive, progress report.
Morning, Your Honor.
Morning.
How are you? Nikki Marrero, Brooke
Recognize
Howardell
you.
Fernandez, Larkin and Tappanis, 200 South Biscayne, here on behalf of the property owner.
Okay, so what's going on? It's progress report. I see.
Yes, so good amount of progress here. We had this is a property that was in very, very bad shape. It had an approval, and for prior project during COVID, majority of the tenants in the property weren't paying rent, and it just became a difficult situation. Ultimately, they, in conjunction with the building official, they were able to get all the residents out in an orderly fashion. The property's been vacant since sometime in the summer, boarded up, completely secured. We had applied, I think in June, for a DRB approval for a 5-unit sort of semi-luxury townhouse development. Because of multiple delays at the Design Review Board, we didn't get heard, just because they had like 20 items on every agenda. We didn't get heard until the end of October, after attempt 3, but we did get approved with some surprising accolades. You know, very rare to get those from these boards sometimes, but we got approved. Client's very excited, they're very motivated. They are now finalizing their building permit plans from that October 20th approval. We expect to have submittal of the building permit plans, you know, mid to end of first quarter of 2022. We will have the building demoed before that. They're already preparing and finalizing everything needed for the demo permit. I think the demo will close this violation out.
What's the address, I'm sorry?
6881
One in the
Indian
creek.
Creek. I think the demo will close this out. You know, if there's some issue, I don't want to say compliance date because there's nobody in this property, it's boarded up. What I would ask, usually it's 90, but I'd ask for a 120-day progress report because I think we'll have it demoed by then, and if it happens, the case is closed. But if for some reason there's a delay in the permitting or, I don't want them to get fined because there's no issue. They're demoing, they're moving forward, there's nobody in the
Why don't
property.
we do a compliance date, and then if obviously there's an issue, then you'll ask for extension time prior, but that way you don't have to keep coming back.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay,
Not a
so we
problem.
could do a 120-day compliance date. I think that'll give you more than sufficient time.
I think that'd be fine.
Okay, so April 20th, there'll be a compliance date,
How many days did you say?
120.
120 days? Oh, okay, sorry.
Yeah, that's April 20th.
Let me see.
Okay, or there'll be a fine of $150 a day.
I mean, total.
100?
$150 a day.
Do you have a process number?
They haven't submitted yet, they're gonna submit like in the next 2 weeks.
Okay.
They just got the DRB approval, so, okay? That's fine. We've only had our DRB approval.
Do you have another one, Mickey, or
Less
is
than
that
two.
it?
No, I do, well, it's funny that Adrian just made the same request. I had emailed Cindy and Steve. I'm the lead attorney, I'm not under the weather, but I have a 6 o'clock case, and because of many family-related scheduling issues, I just can't be here. So it's my request for continuance, same date you gave her works for me. It's unfortunately, a lot of people in my world help me move kids around, and none of them are able to help me today in the afternoon. So in lieu of leaving kids stranded, I would love a continuance to that.
You don't want to leave your kids stranded, really?
You know, the
That's-
15-year-old, I don't care. The 9-year-old gets impacted by being left stranded, so.
Okay, I can understand that. What number are we talking about?
It's
It's,
SMN 2021-00127,
It's, yeah, the 1906 Collins.
1906 Collins. That's on page 20, number 43.
Okay, I'm going to grant as well, I'll grant your request for continuance, and I'm going to schedule it for February as well then, February 24th.
That's it. Thank you, Your Honor. I really appreciate that. You saved me some heartache with the children.
Well, when you talk about kids, it always, it works for me.
Yeah. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Quickly make this change here on
Happy
my calendar.
holidays.
Okay, page
thank you. Have a
9,
great day.
number 17 and 18. SMB 2021-968 and 969 for 841 80th Street. Progress report on both.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Alexander Palenzuela on behalf of the Housing Authority for the City of Miami Beach. We were last here in May for a progress report. You gave us 6 months and waived the fees at that time. The city sent over the contracts for the home funds that will be used to rehabilitate this property for affordable housing. So now the Housing Authority will work on a request for proposals to hire an architect and the contractor. So we're asking for another 6 months unless the city is inclined to give us more time to finish the work, and that the fees for today be waived as well.
Your Honor, we can only agree to 6 months. That's pretty much in line with the Florida Building Code for certain
fine.
permits. And the city has no objection. We've agreed in the past to waive the fees for the Housing Authority, so no objection to council's request.
Okay, well, the next 6 months would be June 20th. We don't have a June 20th, but we have a June 9th. So why don't we come back June 9th?
That's fine. Thank
And I'll
you.
waive, June 9th for both, and I'll waive the.
There is nothing, Your Honor.
June 9th?
I mean, there's no fines.
Not
Right,
fines,
it's the
waiving
court costs for today.
The court costs.
Oh, you're waiving both?
Yeah.
Okay.
June 9th, progress report, I'm waiving the court costs.
Okay, the city has that, but okay. Can I have your card?
Yes.
June 9th? I already have a hearing at 9 a.m. that day, so, and it's here. So is this one also set for 9 or 10?
I don't know, sir. I have to
Yes.
look at the calendar. You'll get notice in the mail.
Okay, great.
I'm just asking if you can put them all at 9.
You
No, it's
want them at
fine.
9?
I
He's already gonna be here.
Another housing case at 9, so if you can accommodate and put them
Right,
all
he'll
at
already
9.
be here.
All right, so you want it at 9 a.m.?
Yes, please.
Yes, or both at the same time, whatever it
Yeah,
is.
of
I don't have the
course.
notice of hearing on that one yet either.
That's fine.
Thank you.
Okay, you're welcome. Okay. Page number 8, Number 16, SMB 21-963 for 8400 Byron Avenue. This is a progress report, Your Honor.
Morning.
Good morning.
Please state your name for the record.
My name is Manolín Jimenez. I'm a plan expediter, and I'm representing the owner.
You're a permit what?
Permit
Expediter?
yes.
Okay, thank you. I'm sorry. Okay. This is a progress report, so what's going on?
Progress report was turned in. The engineer report was actually turned in. There was other supplementary documents that were submitted before in reference to the roofing company and also mold remediation company. But those were, that's just on the side, and then the engineer report was submitted.
Okay. Do you guys have it?
Sorry.
What page was it?
8400 Byron.
Yeah. Number 16, 8400 Byron Avenue.
Okay. Hi, man. How you doing? Good. This is due to water intrusion we had interest review units 6A through 6D. What we're missing is the report from the engineer.
It is already submitted via email.
To who? Because we don't have it in our records.
Violations.
We don't have-
Ibrahim Alvarez.
Is there a way you can submit it to me?
Of course.
Please. You got it's my email?
Oh, okay. Okay.
Send it to me so we could have it, go through it, review it, so we have it in the records, and we put it in the case. And then
Okay.
we'll go from there,
Sure. It's just, it was submitted, so I'm gonna send you a copy, of course, of when I submitted it, that way there's records of the.
On the record that you submitted on the date.
Is there any work that's required to be done?
Yes.
On the report, basically saying that there was no visible mold at this point. Maybe in the past there was a leakage, but the roofing, there's a report that's been submitted as well for the roofing, and it's all sealed nice and tight. So the violation was given to the building, okay, but in reality it's because there was a complaint that came in from one of the units saying that their ceilings were caving in or something like that, but in reality, that's the mold remediation company found that it was isolated issue within the unit, and then the roofing is all sealed up. The engineer calls out for no structural damage that is causing this particular leak or whatever it was.
So what do you need to get into compliance at this point?
Well, Your Honor, if the report's been submitted as the testimony's been, and Mr. Martinez just has to review it,
Yes.
I would suggest bringing it back in 90 days because that's the next available date. If everything's fine and the source has been identified and no additional work is needed, then the violation will be closed.
Right.
If there is work that needs to be done under the report, then at least at the next progress report, we can find out if a permit's been obtained or anything like that.
Okay, all right, so let's schedule for March 24th. for
May
progress
I
report.
add something to that?
Sure.
Thank you. Since we already submitted the report, and I know that I only worked the city of Miami Beach for like 15 years, so I'm like very focused on my stuff. So I would like to definitely for you to consider that I don't have to be here because then I have to charge my client
No,
again.
if they're in compliance, if there's an affidavit of compliance that's submitted prior to the hearing, you don't have to be here.
Correct. That way I don't have to charge him for an extra day just because there's a miscommunication within
I
emails,
agree.
that's all.
I agree, so I'll schedule
Okay.
for March 24th progress report, but if you're in compliance, you don't have to come.
Thank you.
Okay.
No court fees?
No, there's court fees. There's court fees.
All right, we're good?
You're good.
Thank you. You have a good day and happy holidays.
Thank you, you too.
All right. Got it. Thank you.
Page 6, number 12, SMB 19591 for 1228 West Avenue. Made a request for an extension of time. The request was timely, and the non-compliance for 9/27/21 at $200 a day has not been submitted to me.
So you just use your number 12, right? Is that what you just?
Pardon?
Number 12?
Yes.
Good morning, Your Honor.
Good morning.
First of all, I'd like to thank you for everything you've done for us and all of you. Secondly, I also want to say, I need to say, that the city of Miami Beach is the best, starting from Ms. Salguero, thanks to her and all her executives, that I really appreciate everything you do, although you're overworked. I am pleased to announce that we have now passed one of our violations. I have obtained the temporary certificate of occupancy for the relocation of our laundry room to cure that violation. Oh, wait.
I'm sorry.
Oh, no, please.
Just write like review files, like,
they're working on.
like here,
From the going
like
inspection.
something that,
Yeah,
because it
they're
wasn't
working on it.
hearing itself, was
It's the
more
hearings.
like a review.
Yeah, the hearings today.
Okay, that one on the dire circuit.
I'm the first
I was
thing.
gonna send a doc sign, but since you're here.
No, days.
Yeah, that is. Yeah, they're working. It's a big issue. There's all the vents all over the place.
Today's date.
Okay, for extent.
I didn't interrupt.
Yeah, the only situation was the affidavit of compliance and whatnot.
Is that enough?
The judge.
I just put today's hearing
That's fine. Review the file, yeah.
for today's, do you want to put the name of it?
Are they all the same addresses?
Yeah, they're all the same address.
1743 Michigan.
You did West?
Yeah.
Right, thank you. No, it's okay, thank you. Okay, I'm sorry, you can proceed whenever you're ready. I'm sorry for that.
So
Okay.
we have cured one of our violations. Unfortunately, the engineer and architect that was contracted prior to my arrival at the building.
You know, please state your name for the
Oh,
record.
I'm sorry,
That's
Mylene
okay.
Ibanez. I'm the property manager for Bayview Terrace Association.
Eileen,
Mylene,
Mylene.
yes,
And Mylene, I'm sorry, what was your last name?
Ibanez,
Ibanez, okay. And the property manager, okay. thank
yes.
you. Okay, keep going.
Okay, so as I was saying, we cured one of the violations. Unfortunately, the engineer and architect that were contracted, again, I have to say, prior to my arrival at the property, did both violations together. So they submitted the plans, they've been approved. Again, we cured one of the violations. The other one is we're working on the other one, which is bringing more fresh air into the hallways. And we should be finished with that more or less in 45 days. We've been working on both. One has been completed, got the temporary certificate of occupancy for that, for the new location of our laundry room. And even though COVID should not be used as an excuse for lack of compliance, there is a shortage of materials, and now with all the new stipulations, which I totally agree with, and I thank you, for the buildings to make sure that they are safe. The vendors are not very accessible because of the overload of requests at this point. What I ask, Judge, if you could possibly grant us, first of all, if there's fines, if you could possibly stop them. I ask respectfully. And secondly, we need 60 days, and I'm asking 60 days to cure the second violation, and we should not even go there. But I just don't want to come back to you and ask for an extension. So,
Are fines running?
No, because the affidavit of non-compliance hasn't been filed yet.
Okay, so do you have any objection to granting, okay.
I just want to put in the record there,
Okay.
they have two permits that are currently issued. The master permit BC 192463 and the mechanical 21-0-2853, and they're due to expire on June 6, 2022, and the other one's due to expire on May 23rd, 2022. So if you get those permits final, we pretty much close out the issues.
You gotta go for inspections.
You get inspections and finals, and then you got the TCO yesterday?
we have the TCO for one of the violations, which is the location of the new laundry room. The other one, the fresh air for the hallways, we're working on that. We're currently working aggressively to finish that project.
So fire is on,
Fire was there today.
Today? Okay.
Yes. For the
Your Honor,
laundry. I don't want to mislead anybody.
Either we could bring it back as a progress report in March, or you can set a compliance date of June, which is the last permit that has,
Yeah.
that's out there, and then if they run into time problem in June, we can come
Yeah,
back.
June will
But
be
it
better
seems with the TCO, and the little work that needs to be done, I think they'll be in compliance well before the compliance
Yeah, I
date.
think that's just an easier thing. I'm gonna grant additional time to comply, and I'm gonna do the new compliance date. When does it expire?
The mechanical will be 6/6/2022.
Okay, so it'll be June 6, 2022, or the fines of $200 a day will run.
I'm sorry, do we have the fine? I'm sorry, I didn't understand.
No, nothing ever started,
No.
so you have no fines.
Perfect.
I'm granting additional time to comply. I'm going to base it on when your permit expires, which is June 6, 2022. Otherwise, there'll be fines for $200 a day.
Okay, and I expect to finish that before, way before.
Right,
Okay.
just finish it beforehand, call for the final inspection, and you won't have to come back in
Absolutely.
June.
Thank you. And again, I have to say this, I'm sorry. I've worked in many cities, and this is the best.
Wow.
Okay, I really appreciate everything you've done, Judge and Cynthia and the city. I mean, no words, but thank you so much, because you don't hear it as you should.
Thank you.
Okay, so thank you very much.
Appreciate that.
Thank
Thank you.
Page 7, number 14, SMB 2020-868 for 300 Lincoln Road.
Thank you, too. Okay. Good morning.
Good morning, Your Honor.
Please
Good
state your
morning,
name for the
everyone.
record.
My name is Eyal Alfi. I'm here for the lender, New Gables Capital in this case.
You're the,
What is your name?
Eyal Alfi.
you represent the lender. Okay. Okay, this is a 40-year recertification violation. Okay, what's going on?
So, since the last hearing we had, we actually gained access to the property, and we have started dealing first with all the safety and issues with the property. The property has been pretty much abandoned by the tenants that were there, and there was no access to the property by the landlord, and neither by us for a long period of time. We cleaned up the property, which took several weeks just to get everything out of there. There was a lot of mold on furnitures, old carpets, and things like that that made things worse. We did get a new property condition report for the property. We did bring an electrician to contain the electrical situation in the property. He disconnected the electricity from flowing into the property. It's actually now only in the main panel, which cannot be used. He only put out 3 temporary outlets for contractors and people to do the cleanup. We bought a roofer. We resealed the entire roof, so there's no more water penetration into the property. And we have a consent from the borrower to try and sell the property or find a tenant, at which point the property will need a gut renovation, including upgrading the entire electric system, plumbing, HVAC, and that would take care of bringing the property up to code to meet the 40-year certification. For now, we have sealed the property. Nobody is there. Nobody is allowed to occupy the property, and we are not looking to allow anybody to occupy it until we can bring it back to code and meet the 40-year certification.
So is an engineer looking at it now?
Engineers have looked into it. We have a property clean, a fresh property condition report.
Yeah, however, the structure and the electrical reports haven't been approved yet. They submitted both reports?
So he submitted something, he hasn't finished the work because what he needs to do now, all he did is, like I said, he disconnected the electricity.
But before you do any work or apply for a permit, you have to get approved for the reports so that you know what type of permits or what type of work that needs to be done.
So he's working on it with the electrician. He's
Yeah,
working on it.
unfortunately, a lot of contractors, they go ahead and apply for a permit before the reports are approved.
There's no reports have been approved other than a report that we ordered from our engineer, which you're not even privy to it.
I'm sorry, let's rewind for a second.
Yeah.
Okay. we see you have an engineer record, 17, so it's vacant, and it's secured, right?
Excuse me.
An engineer on record?
Yeah, you have, the property secured, correct?
Yes, correct.
Okay. And you have a permit permit process, which is BC 211-7144, that was applied on August 17, 2021.
From the
For
electrician?
the repairs. Master, from the master.
For the master?
Yeah, to repair your property.
Okay.
Okay, that, there hasn't been any further action on that permit.
No inspections, nothing.
There hasn't been any further action in that reviews for that process to get that permit.
Is the permit still open?
The process still active, yes, it's not abandoned. After 180 days, it will become abandoned.
Okay, so that permit is to bring the property back to
Correct.
code. So like I said, we will need more time to bring it up to code because as per the report that we got, we need to fully upgrade the electrical system, fully upgrade the AC system.
The first thing you need to do is to get the reports approved. The structural and electrical, they have to be resubmitted because they both failed the review, resubmitted back to us from
report that
the
we
engineer,
just did?
electrical and structural, yes.
Yeah, I mean, I have it. I can send it back to the city. That's not a
Yeah,
problem.
we have it in records. We have it in our records.
No, but we have a
They-
fresh one.
Oh, the
Again,
fresh ones, you got new
that-
ones in?
Yeah,
They
that's
have to
why I said
address
I have
the
it.
review comments. They have to address the review comments. Okay.
Okay, so we will share that with the city. We have done that in addition to the work that we took place in order to contain the safety problem and security of the property.
Right.
So there-
Okay, is the city okay with coming back in March for progress report, since it is abandoned and the property supposedly secured?
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Yes.
We would like that, but we just want to make sure, put in the record there, what decisions you guys want to do with regards to the permit.
They have to resubmit those reports and then pull the appropriate permits for the work that's
For the
needed in that
upgrade.
report. If you have a current permit that's in applied status or wherever it was, you could do revisions to that permit so you don't have to go get another permit. I think that's what we're trying to straighten out. So if those reports can get back in and we can come back in March, then we can figure out where we are and what's the next
I
step.
will do that.
Okay.
we will do
All right,
that.
let's come back on March 24th for a progress report.
Okay, so again, I'm gonna have to go resubmit those reports.
No. The initial reports that you submitted already
Yeah,
failed, and they require repairs, and that's why you got this permit.
Yeah, they can go online, plug
You
it,
submit another report right
yeah,
now?
enter the 40-year process number, and they can see all the comments. So you have to address these comments.
If you submit a report again, it will be the same comments before because no repairs have been done, because the permit is applied.
okay, so what we need to do is follow up on that open permit.
On that open
40
process
years.
number.
Okay, I'll give
40
it to our
years.
engineer.
Gotta
Okay,
get on top of that. That's what
Okay.
I'm trying to say.
okay,
But we're not back here. And so.
all right. Okay.
What was it? I'm sorry. What was
The
it?
date, no, that date.
March 24th.
All right, thank you so
All
much,
right.
everyone. Thank you, Your
All
Honor.
right, good luck to you.
Happy holidays.
Okay, you too.
That concludes 10 o'clock.
Okay, do you need a break or we can start with 11?
Don't matter to me.
You need a break? Okay.
Sir, can I have your case number?
Good morning. My name is Annette Cannon. I'm the special magistrate assigned to hear a case today. I'm going to briefly explain the procedure for those who have never been here before. You've been cited with a violation, and you have time to correct the violation. The city has chosen to proceed with this hearing for the purpose of obtaining a finding of noncompliance, which could later be used at a subsequent hearing for the purpose of deemed a repeat violation. The hearing is public, recorded, and all testimony is taken under oath. Although the formal rules of evidence do not apply, fundamental due process is observed. If you're admitting the violation, please advise when you come to the podium. You need to tell me how much time you need to correct the violation. The city will also give me an estimate. Based on what you both say, I will give you reasonable time to correct the violation. If you're contesting the violation, the city must prove through clear and convincing evidence that the violation has occurred and or the violations don't exist. This is done through testimony of the inspector or the custodian of record. The inspector is not available to testify, and the exhibits are introduced by the city. If you're refuting the violation, you expect to give testimony as to why there is no violation. After I've heard both sides, I'll render a decision based on the evidence and testimony before me. If I find there is no violation, I'll dismiss the case. I find that there is a violation, I will give you reasonable time to correct the violation before a fine begins to run. I have authority to impose fines up to $1,000 per day for violation. If you're a repeat offender, I have authority to impose fines up to $5,000 per day per violation. There's also an administrative fee of $108, which is assessed by me unless I waive it.
When you come to the podium, please state your name, your relationship to the property owner, and if you have authority to proceed on behalf of the property owner. At this time, I ask the clerk to swear in all the witnesses.
Those of you who are about to testify, please stand and raise your right hand. You've already testified. You're an attorney. You don't need to stand. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? Yes. Thank you. You may be seated. Come on up. Calling the first case, Your Honor, page 10, number 20, SMB 19-329 for 4525 Collins Avenue. They're requesting an extension of time to comply, which was timely, and the fines are currently running.
I'm sorry, which number did you just? Wait, I need the 11 o'clock file. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, what number, I'm sorry, which number, which case are you here for?
Number 10, wait a minute, number 20 on page 10.
Okay, thank you.
Good.
I was working with Adrian, obviously, so good to meet you guys.
Hey, you have your help?
Yeah. Good morning, please state your name for the record.
Hey, good morning, Your Honor. Wes Hevia, Anchorman LLP, law office at 98 Southeast 7th Street, Miami, Florida, here on behalf of the Eden Rock Hotel. Your Honor may recall this violation concerns a raised pool deck in the back of the Eden Rock Hotel, probably around the same size as this room. The pool deck is basically, what you're looking at here. It's a step-up pad where you can put tables, and then there was the other issue under this was railing. Conducted without a permit. This violation goes back to, gentleman here has photographs. This violation goes back to 2018. It was part of a number of different violations that were issued relating to this pool deck and the issues underneath the pool deck. A master permit was pulled for the stuff that was going on above and below the pool deck. And a sub-permit, or rather shop drawings were pulled for the railings, right? And those are recently closed. So I think I can give you that number here.
Yes, that's basically what we need. The situation with Eden Rock is that so many parcels and so many activities are none are linked to that violation.
Right.
So there's no way we could finally go to one for one.
So I know this is a
Help us
case
out.
where, of course, and this is a case I know where Adrian Avalos had been handled it, and he retired. I had emailed the building department back in September before the compliance deadline, offering the shop drawings number SD 190-1585 and the TCO.
What's the shop drawing number?
Sure, SD 190-1585, and that's for the railings.
Okay.
And then really what we had offered or asked for clarity on is this pool deck is TCO'd and has been inspected, so our design team believes that we may actually that may be sufficient evidence to show that the remedial work has been
Do you have the
permitted.
master permit for that?
Absolutely.
sub-drawing?
For that TCO too?
Yes, the reference is B130
One?
2176, and again, that includes everything that's going on underneath the pool deck as well, which is the reason this is taking so long. Because one way that we can show compliance, obviously, is if we get the certificate of completion for that master, but it's slower than just what's going on the pool deck because there's a lot more issues involved. I was told today that the work relating to the master should be done within the next 2 weeks. So if that's what the building department needs to memorialize the limited work that we're discussing under this violation, we're okay with that, but we'd ask for more time. What I had asked back in September and what I haven't been able to get clarity on is whether the TCO and the shop drawings can get us past this violation. I know we were in meetings with the building official and Deputy City Attorney Rothstein was in those meetings. The building official's preference was that we don't pull additional permits for this pool deck anymore because there's a lot going on. And what we would have done is pulled something specifically for the deck because we have shop drawings for the rails, but we don't have shop drawings for the deck. So I guess what we would ask for is more time because we can close out that master soon, or if the code is satisfied with the TCO plus the shop drawings, we're obviously fine with that result as well.
So I think the best way, taking all that into account, is to continue this grant the request for more time and continue this to March, because by then, if the pool deck is closed, and anything else needs to be done, then we would do, the building department would be doing all the inspections at once. But council's correct, the building official didn't want any more permits pulled on the building until this is all sorted out.
All right, so I'm gonna grant additional time to comply, and we'll come back. I'm not gonna give a compliance date yet, because I think we need to see what's going on. And let's just come back on March 24th for a progress report.
Okay.
You want me to stop the fines that are currently running?
There's fines that are running?
There was a September compliance deadline, or $150 per day.
Right.
September the 10th, 150.
Right, he said he made a request prior to that.
Well, once the non-compliance comes, Your Honor, I have to,
No, I
mention it.
understand.
Yeah,
I'm
no,
just-
no, just, the only question is, was the request made before
Oh, yes, it
9/10?
was timely, yes.
Yeah, it was. I'm looking at an email that was sent on September 7th asking for additional time to comply. So, vacate any fines
Okay.
and grant additional time.
I apologize, Your Honor, I missed that, I was speaking to the
Oh,
gentleman.
good news.
I
fines
just
were
gave you
vacated.
$100,000 in fines.
Okay. I'm good for it.
And, I vacated the fines since
Oh.
you did make a timely request for additional time to
Thank you,
comply.
Your Honor. And March
And
24th, the status report?
Correct.
Yeah, progress report on March 24th.
Okay.
Thank you, Your Honor.
You're welcome.
May we just, before we end
Yes,
this?
sir, yes, sir.
The shop drawing are shop drawings. They show more details and they come straight from the engineers. But you do need to apply for a revision to include the scope of work for the railings and the deck, the raised deck. Make sure this is shown on a revision to the master for the work.
So I believe it already is. I believe that scope of work is.
I'm gonna check it.
We have to research.
May
But
I
if it's not,
And I
we
can
need a revision.
step away, but do you mind if I get your cards as well? Because I was connected with Abe and Tasha. Do you mind if I email you directly after this?
Sure, that's my card too. That's his card, that's my card.
Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you all. Have a good day.
Page 12, number 24, SMB 19470 for 835 80th Street. They're requesting additional time to comply also, and their request was timely.
Hello,
Hi, good morning. Please state your name for the record.
I'm Russell Lee, and I'm the owner of 835 80th Street.
Let me check this out.
3580 Street.
I'm just looking at your letter.
Sorry, I wrote long letters.
No, I think it's very
But
useful.
I just wanted to impress upon you that I am trying to take care of this. And trust me, there is no one that would like this wrapped up quicker than I would.
Especially because you have it vacant.
Yeah, it's vacant, and it's even vacant, it's costing me a couple of $1,000s a month just to
Yeah.
keep the taxes and the maintenance. I do have, even since my letter from the other day, I do have a couple of pieces of good news, and one way that I may be able to go ahead and resolve the recertification issue if you guys agree with it and the inspector told me correctly. But I don't know whether, whenever you let me know where you want me to start in
Yeah,
this,
go
I will.
ahead.
You want me to start with the, sort of at the beginning, not the beginning, but where we left off in like last summer, September, or would you like for me just to talk about where we are right now?
Where we are right now is perfect.
Okay, great. So where we are right now is the latest was actually the underground plumbing. When we started the project, I was not going to replace the underground plumbing. Once we got into it, everybody said, you need to replace the underground plumbing. So we did. So that meant that everything had to stop. I had to go back to the architect and get a new plan, a revised plan. I fell to the bottom of his important pile because it was a one-page revision. Took forever to get that, signatures, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. We finally did get the plan. I got it approved about a week ago. Then the plumber quit. So So the good news is, the update since the letter is, I do have a new plumber, and he's coming next week to take over once we get all of the paperwork sorted on that, so we should be able to continue. Also, there's sort of been a domino effect with regard to the electrical permit and the mechanical permit, et cetera, et cetera. The work has all been done, and I did submit photos to show that. It's just that we haven't been able to call for the inspections yet. On the electrical, the next step in that is filing for the temp for test. That paperwork has all been filed. As soon as we get that approved, which should be like today, I should be able to call for the electric temp for test. Once that is done, then the mechanical guy tells me he can fire up all of the air conditioners, and then we can call for the mechanical inspection, and both the electrician and the mechanical guy essentially say there shouldn't be any, they don't anticipate any problems with those inspections. The plumbing is the other big issue. I can't proceed with kitting out the kitchens, bathrooms, tile, any of that until after the underground plumbing inspection is approved and we can close up the floor. The kitchen vendor has everything ready to go and install. I have the tile on, I have all of the stuff there. It's just waiting to be installed once we get through that point. So that's sort of where we are with the renovation. I also did talk to an inspector who did my insurance inspections a few months ago, and he's also the same guy that's going to do the 40-year recertification inspection. That company is for me. So I asked him if there was a way that we could go ahead. We keep waiting, or I keep waiting for the renovation to be complete to do the 40-year. And I said, is there any way possible to get that done first without getting a certificate of occupancy? And he indicated to me that it was, that once we got the electrical sorted and we got the floor sorted after the plumbing, that we could start the report for the 40-year recertification. And he said, structurally, he's seen the building, and he said, structurally, it's all fine other than that. So I don't know if that's something that I should maybe discuss with you further before I have him come out, or if I should just proceed with that. That's my big question, because I would, sure you guys would like to get rid of me and, and you know, free up some time for someone else.
What we have in our records is that the building is vacant, correct?
Yes, the building is vacant and
That's the most
fenced.
important thing. Now, nevertheless, we don't have any reports of the actual structural and electrical systems.
Right.
We do need to see the current condition of the building. It's all these workers that are happening or not, and there could be structural issues or any electrical issues. Whether the report is going to be failed or not, we do need to see the conditions based on the reports from the engineer.
So do you think that I should go ahead with the inspector and have him start a 40-year recertification and let us know exactly where we are?
Where you are.
Okay, great. I will, yes.
And then move forward on that. And then once you start going with the items that we tell you, our reviewer still do, you know, fix it so, and such, then that's what you got to fix in order to get your 40-year certification approved.
Okay, so why don't we do this, if that's okay with you? I will contact the inspectors next week, and we'll start the 40-year recertification process and see where we are while we're wrapping everything.
Need the reports at least.
Yeah,
For
okay.
example, look, there's some items that are not regulated for the 40-year to get approved. For example, interior renovations or some minor stuff, you know?
Right, okay.
So,
And all of the permits are current? I mean, that's all,
yeah,
that's all still going on?
I didn't go that far. I only got into researching only the 40-year items again.
Okay.
So that's where we're pending the reports. And let me see, vacant, that's seen on 720.
Whatever alterations you have, like, ongoing now, they may not be related to the 40-year.
Yeah.
40-year
It's literally just mechanical plumbing. Well, the plumbing was upgraded, if you will, and then we replaced the underground plumbing. The electric was all upgraded, like, you know, new sort of everything to bring it up to code, and then adding washers and dryers and so forth, and AC. And then the mechanical was actually adding central AC.
So that will help you out in the reports once you submit it in, and our reviewers will see it, and we'll go with flying colors.
You see, when you get the reports approved, I'm sorry, but when you get the reports approved, that's how you base your permits on, you know, like, you don't need to be doing the extra work that's outside what the report says.
The scope of work for the 40-year
Because
certification
these
program.
reports are the ones that are gonna get you the 40-year certification.
Okay.
So,
Yeah, Mr.
Those
Lee,
are
I
the-
think
give those are the
what's being combined here is the plumbing work and the 40-year recertification.
Exactly, yes.
So if you focus on the 40-year recertification, we can close this violation, and you could still work on the plumbing.
And still work on everything else. Got it. Okay, perfect.
So I'm thinking 90 days should be more than sufficient for an additional time to comply for the 40 recertification.
Oh, God, I hope so.
So that way I don't have to make you keep coming back.
Thank you.
Okay? So I'm gonna grant additional time. Let's see. 90 days would be March 21st. That'll be your new compliance date.
March 31st?
March 21st.
21st?
Or fines of $150 a day will start.
My biggest fear were the fines had already started somehow, but hopefully
did.
they haven't.
And when the department submits the non-compliance, I have to run it. And I also sent out in November, the 20-day notice. Okay, and I didn't get a response back, so I filed the lien on December the 6th.
Was the request for more time prior to the compliance date?
This was in the wrong file, listen.
8:30 was the request, and yes. And that, when he made the request for an extension of time, it was before the 9/10/21 non-compliance. But when I sent out the request to challenge the non-compliance, there was no response on that, so.
And that I honestly don't remember ever receiving.
Your Honor,
I
since
would've-
the request was made before the compliance date, it was a timely request.
I'm gonna vacate the fines.
Vacate the fines and instruct the clerk to release the lien.
Yeah,
Okay,
vacate
when
the
it comes
fines,
back.
release the lien,
Not satisfied, release.
just
Yeah,
release the
I'm
lien,
releasing.
and then grant additional time to comply to March 21st.
I have
Okay.
that.
Here, this was in the wrong file. This was at 10 o'clock, and it was in his file.
Can I take it? Yeah, that's awesome. Okay, thank you.
Email.
Okay, perfect.
981. Okay.
Okay. I'm just saying, I remember.
Yeah, that's not
Okay.
a problem.
All right, so we're good?
I think so. No fines, March 21st, 40-year recertification done.
Okay, perfect.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And no lien.
More importantly, there's no lien and there's no fines running.
I'll get rid of it. Okay. Page 14, number 26, SMB 2020-738 for 1250 Drexel Avenue. There are fines imposed. They did make a request for an extension of time, and their request was timely.
Okay. Please state your name for the record.
Hi, the name is Tom Borup, and I'm the property owner.
Okay. Explain the violation.
I'm sorry?
The description of the violation, it's a new shower installation of washer and dryer connections
Without permits.
without permits.
So I have a 500 square foot condominium. I'm a part-time resident. I flew down here yesterday for this hearing from Minneapolis.
Oh, wow, okay.
It was a good time to get out of Minneapolis, but.
Oh, okay, because I was going to say, you can always appoint someone to represent you, by the way, so
Oh,
you don't have to go through the trouble.
Well, I'm trying, nobody is more frustrated than I am. I don't understand why this is so complicated. I'm just trying to get it done.
Okay.
And it's not the first time I've flown down to take care of some of the business.
Okay.
So anyway, unbeknownst to me, around 2005, the work was done on the bathroom to update the bathroom, convert the tub to a shower, and so on, without a permit. The contractor was licensed and insured. The work was good.
When did you purchase the property?
2002.
Oh, okay. And you're saying in 2005 this work was done, okay.
Yeah, I didn't have any idea. I wasn't here when the work was done. I hired a licensed contractor. I assumed everything was good. So when I got the violation in February of 2020, I called a contractor immediately, started the process in motion. He got the architect on board. Of course, it was the COVID shutdown at that point, so everything was very difficult. The city was changing over its procedures online. The contractor he didn't have any idea how to how to navigate that. And I'm in Minneapolis, locked down for the rest of the year. Meanwhile, my neighborhood in Minneapolis, a few blocks from where George Floyd was murdered, burned down. The bank across the street from me, where I get my notarized signatures, they burned down. The city was boarded up for the next year until the Derek Chauvin trial verdict came through. So it was very difficult just to get daily things done, let alone manage a project in South Florida. Anyway, I didn't know this either, but we got everything submitted, I think by September, except the contractor had let his insurance lapse because he didn't have any work that year. So he didn't file the new insurance until the first of the year. So we thought we had everything set to go at the first of this year. But it sat, and it wasn't reviewed. We didn't understand why. I kept calling, trying to figure it out. They had a special magistrate hearing. They looked at the file. They said, everything seems to be there. You should be hearing from them soon. Finally, I got through to someone who figured it out. This was in April, who said, well, the architect's plan was filed in 2020, but on December 31st, the law changed, and the digital signatures had to be different. So it wasn't even looked at. It was considered non-complete because the digital signature had been filed the year before, which was correct when it was filed, but then it wasn't correct. So anyway, that brings us to April. So May, I flew down here. I went to the architectural printing office. I got the physical plans. I made an appointment with the city. They were finally taking in-person appointments again. And I went up to North Beach to the office, gave them the plans. So by May, then we thought we had everything in place. Well, the inspections came back with a long list of questions, and the contractor and the architect were like, this is as if we were building a new building. This doesn't make any sense. We're talking about a 35 square foot bathroom remodel project. So anyway, so then the architect said, well, you need to hire a permit doctor. So I hired a permit doctor. We've been trying to get through this. Damien arranged a three-way conference with the city and me and the architect, because the architect said, I can't answer these questions until I talk to somebody about what the scope is here. So the day of the meeting, the city canceled it because they said, we can't meet with you until you answer the questions. So it's like, we can't answer the questions until we talk to somebody, and we can't talk to somebody. Anyway, this has just been like the craziest process. And I'm new to it. I've never done this before. I'm learning. I see some mistakes that I've made. I see some mistakes the city has made. My contractor certainly has made mistakes. But I think as of 2 weeks ago, it said everything was approved except for electrical. So that was approved this morning, but now it shows everything else is not approved.
Carla,
I'm confused.
Can you hop out for a second? I don't have a laptop in front of me real quick. Can you put this permit number BC 2014160?
Are you living in the unit, or it's just you when you come back and forth?
When I come down.
No one else is in the unit.
No.
It's vacant when you're not there.
I'm not there.
Okay, and Mr. Gallo, you're helping him? Yes. Okay.
He has a little more update than I do, I think.
Is there anything you want to add, Mr. Gallo?
Everybody. For the record, Damien Gallo, 775 17th Street, assisting Tom on his property at 1250 Drexel, Unit 10. So there was one trade that had comments as of 2 weeks ago, which was electrical. They approved it this morning. The other disciplines are just required to re-sign, which is fire and zoning. Since it's considered a commercial property and it's not single family, those disciplines are reopened, even though they were already approved. So it's just a matter of them re-signing, approving what they have approved previously, and we'll have the permit in the next week or so.
Okay, so once he has the permits, he'll be in compliance?
No, he'll need final inspection because this is an after-the-fact
For the
permit.
fact permit, okay, that's fine.
He also made the request to challenge the affidavit of noncompliance, so I did not file the lien.
Okay, when was that made? When was there a request for additional time to comply?
The request for additional time to comply was on 9/8,
Okay.
and the challenge
Wait.
on,
The review right now.
hold on, was on 11/29.
But when was the compliance date?
The compliance date is September 14th.
September 14th, that's
Right, so I'm
already
just
running.
looking for the request.
Which was September 8th, so it was timely?
No, I don't see it. I see Cindy's email to him explaining that he needs to make a request
He
to
made
comply.
the request,
Okay.
hold on. He made the request on September the 8th.
Plumbing already passed.
He made that on the 8th. He also changed where the correspondence should be sent,
It's only pending.
and then
I see it.
on,
I see it.
oh, okay.
Building?
Okay, so his request was timely.
Mechanical.
So I'm gonna vacate any fines
No, mechanical. Go back to the blue.
are there fines running?
Yes.
Okay, I'm gonna
Someone
vacate the
must have already
fines
made them.
since the request was timely. How much time do we need to get in compliance?
So the permit will be approved for sure by the end of the year, then the contractor needs to manage the inspection, so I think that's a variable that we need to discuss.
So 90 days,
I think,
90 days for the permit or
compliance date?
for completing all the work? The contractor was a little worried about some materials, supplies are,
I thought the work was done and you're doing it after the work permit. Am I wrong?
no, you're correct.
there may be things that have to be redone, we don't know.
There are, yeah, there's a couple changes that the building department made to comply with the code, so I'm not sure exactly how extensive those materials or parts are needed.
Can I butt in for a second?
Some more.
For a quick second? You pass your electrical, and we're under review now for mechanical, so let the chief mechanical review that, it's assigned to her. And the only thing, you will be pending also your trades. You gotta get your contractor trades, or the insurances and everything in the system with separate permit numbers.
Yeah.
So maybe they could use that for.
It should be done, Your Honor, in 90 days.
Yeah, let's do a compliance date of 90 days. I don't see that, but your original compliance date was September, so I think that's more than enough time. It'll be March 21st.
Have all the work completed?
Yeah, it's a new compliance date or fines of 100-day will run.
Is it possible to ask for more time? Just, everything has taken so long up until now, it's hard to imagine it like going like clockwork at this point.
Well, I mean, I think you finally have your ducks in a row. I think 90 days should be more than enough. Your original plan was September. It seems like there's still a little bit left. Let's just go with the 90 days because it should be done. If not, Mr. Gallo asked for additional time, but I really think you're gonna be fine.
Understood. You have your trade contractors already on board on that, or what's it? No?
No, I had, my contractor retired and moved to Italy, so I have to get a new contractor. I'm meeting with him this afternoon. He's reviewed the architect's plan and sent it out to his subs, because they have to price it out as if it was a completely new job. So, I mean, this has already cost me more than $10,000, and I don't even have a permit yet. And I'm on Social Security.
Just for changing the shower from a shower
Bathtub
to
to shower.
On washer and dryers.
And a wash, I had to buy a new washer dryer so that I had a ventless
I saw
dryer,
an application. Yeah.
which is done. I mean, the vent's not removed because the contractor wouldn't touch it until the permit was approved. But
All right, let's do it for April 20th then. I'll give you the 120 days. That way you'll be a little bit have more peace of mind.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. All right. If not, there'll be a fine of $100 a day, but that'll be the new compliance date.
April
April 20th.
20th. Okay. I have a little trouble sometimes because I get mail here and then I get mail in Minneapolis.
Okay. Where do you want her to send the order?
I'm sending it, hold on, I'm sending it.
By
to-
email?
No. I'm sending it to, hold on. 2929 Chicago.
That's in Minneapolis, correct?
Okay, but I'm telling you also, you'll know that
Right.
this is your compliance date, April 20th.
Yeah.
If not, you'll have a fine of $100 a day. So in addition, you'll get an order in the mail, but please just make a note of it as well.
Yeah, one way, I'll be here for much of January and February.
If not, I
but-
suggest you have Mr. Gallo, you're working with him. He can also get a copy of the order so that you'll stay in contact with him as well.
All right, thank you.
Make sure you guys get the solvent, right?
Yeah, I think I don't see it today.
Okey dokey smoky, let's moving on. Page 11, number 21, SMB 19, 362 for 333 Jefferson Avenue. They made a request for an extension of time to comply.
There's two of them for them.
There are two, Cindy.
21 and 21 and 20. You had them attached.
21
Oh,
and
and
22.
22.
Which one are we doing?
The first one, 362. And then his other one is on page 12, number 22,
Gotcha.
SMB 19, 432 for 333 Jefferson Avenue.
Okay, please state your name for the record.
My name is Randolph Mijangos,
What case was
and
this?
I'm here representing the previous owners of the
The owner representative of,
previous owners, correct?
oh, the previous owner.
Correct. The property was sold on July of this year, 2021.
Are we on SMB 362?
It's the one you just said. Yeah, 00362. Randolph, what is your last name?
Randolph Mijangos, MIJANGOS.
Okay, you're the previous owner representative. Okay.
Correct. Good morning, Your Honor.
Good morning. All right, so let's go over 21. Can you explain the violation where we're at?
Sure, Your Honor. This was a stop work order for interior renovations without approved permit, demolition, new frame, new plumbing. They needed to stop all work until the permit was obtained, and double permit fees apply. Yesterday, apparently, the permit was linked to BC 17-04595. So the double permit fees do apply, and the work needs to be done. They can't do any more work on the property because there are planning issues that need to be addressed for the permit to continue. So planning also has a stop work order on this property.
Okay, so what do we have to do? So what's going on now to move this forward?
Well, they need to go back before planning and have these issues resolved.
Okay, so what are you doing?
I'm here actually, well, to represent that when this was brought to the attention of the previous owners, the daily fines that were given in 2020 was when the pandemic began, and a lot of things happened, just like the previous gentleman explained to me and myself, because I was a property manager at the time. And then the property was sold this year in July 2021.
So does the
from the
new owner
owner,
now,
so-
do they have to reissue the violation to the new owner?
No, the violation was opened at the time before the sale, so the violation continues on, and that's why this gentleman's here today as the prior owner's representative. There is an issue with the use of this building because the apartment hotel use is no longer permitted in this area. That's why it needs to go back before planning.
Okay. So does he have authority to go before planning since you know?
No, because he's not the current owner.
Right, so I don't know what we can get done is my point.
There's really nothing from this standpoint because there's a stop work order and there's fines.
Right, but that will apply to the new owner.
Well, that's between you and the owner as to who's going to pay these fines eventually. But right now, as far as a progress report goes, the project is at a stop.
There's a lock.
No work can be done.
Do you have a lawsuit pending with the new owner, or, I mean, something has to get done. I mean, I can't just.
Here's our position. Back in 2020, when the pandemic began, apparently the fines were given on a daily basis. Is that correct?
I believe that there's $124,000 in fines.
Right, there's almost $180-something thousand that were pending on fines. So what was the accrual per day on the fine?
We don't calculate that. We
There
calculate
were 150 a day, but there's two violations, so I don't know
Right.
if they were stacked, that you were getting $300 a day in violations. I'm not
Exactly.
sure.
And then when the pandemic began, there was a lot of, everything, we didn't know about it. So the sale went through on July of 2021, and apparently he's here to represent the new owners, exactly.
So you represent the new owners?
Correct. And they're before the HPD board, okay, to bring everything.
Here, why don't you come in and state your name for the record and explain what's going on?
Eugene Rockman.
What is the name?
Expediter, project manager. Okay, so.
Rockman, you said?
Rock, R-O-C-K-M-A-N, Rockman. I've been associated with the property as it was being remodeled. There were plans in place, everything was good, okay? And then the Preservation League came in and said, no, we want this. And originally, back then in 1940s, if my memory serves me correct, that it was a hotel back then. So they're before them. I have a case number, for the record, is HPB 21-0490, and they were trying to satisfy them so we can continue the work. So does that make sense? It sounds like the left hand and the right hand here don't know what's going
It
on.
makes sense, but it'll be through zoning. See, you will have to present this to zoning and planning. They're the ones who have the lock on that, on the
Right.
situation for the.
Your Honor, the best way to handle this is to continue this hearing so that they can get back before the HPB, because there are significant issues with the change in the zoning law for this particular property, and not the zoning code changed. Apartment hotels are no longer permitted use in this particular area.
Okay,
So they need to go back before before a land use board to straighten out the issues, so no further work can be done at this time.
right. Is the property vacant?
Yes, it's under construction,
Okay.
which has been stopped because of the stop work order.
Okay. Do you have an objection to the fines stopping, since it just seems like the fines are running against the old property owner, which they kind of have to work together. I don't know that the old property owner has any control over the fines, to help with the fine
The
stopping.
city would object at this time because nothing has been filed for a request to stop the fines.
Okay, all right,
Maybe we
then,
could address that at the next hearing.
that's fine. Let's reschedule for March 24th,
Thank you.
okay, for both of them, progress report, and so I hope you guys work together to get this done.
Okay, thank you very much for your
You're
time.
welcome.
Can I have a quick question?
Sure.
He says that he mentioned about that was change back when the previous property owners had bought the property. It was used for hotel, and it was going to be used as a home away Airbnb. So is that something? When did that law came? When was that change?
About 3 or 4 months ago,
Okay, there you
the
go.
zoning law has changed. Hotels are no longer permitted use. I believe you're in the RSPM 1 or 2 districts.
And this was about 3 or 4 months ago?
That is correct.
Okay, wanted to make that clear. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, thank you.
Appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Page 11, number 23, SMB 19415 for 2395 Lake Panacos Drive. He made a request for an extension of time, Your Honor, and the request is timely.
Progress report on both.
Yeah, it's 22 also.
Okay.
Okay, please state your name for the record.
Hi, I'm Jeff Massey, the homeowner.
Okay. Okay, so there was a compliance date September 10th.
Right. So, I guess the good news is a lot of very important work has been done. Evidently, one of the initial sort of delays was the challenge and complexity of some of the structural work that was required. And so that work has been completed. It's passed inspections, and in hindsight, this component of the job is why it was actually very difficult to get contractors, I think, on board previously. Having seen the work being done, you know, they put 15 pin piles under the building. They did, I guess, like column support. They did steel beams. They did all sorts of stuff. Had been unpermitted work when I bought the place, and so this place now, maybe it's overkill, but if there's a Category 100 hurricane, my place isn't going anywhere. You know, if you want to see the pictures, I've got them. So that's good. You know, it took longer than anticipated. There were steel delays. You know, the initial plan that I had done for the structural work, that it wasn't as rigid or strong. And it was redone, permitted, approved, definitely probably more than necessary, but that's kind of the better than less when you're talking anything structural. So that's been done. I think the last inspection on it was October 14th, which passed. But yeah, just the complexity and the involvement, and on my end, the cost was much more than I ever anticipated. So the project isn't done, but that's kind of that was I think the big bear in the room that was really slowing everything down. So now things are moving ahead.
So when are you going to be done?
Well, I mean, so I have a lot of the parts that were waiting on this, I've ordered. So there's some are sitting in my living room, now in my rental. I mean, I do need more time.
So the rental's vacant.
What's that?
It's vacant, right? No one's renting
No,
it.
oh, nobody, no, you can't, nobody's in there. My personal rental that I'm living in, and I want to be out, well, I was thinking that this whole project would be done quicker. The rental I was in sold, and so now, I've got to be out by the 15th of next week. So now I'm packing up and going somewhere, and again, until this place is done. So it's in my interest, obviously, to get it done as fast as possible. I guess seeing the process, it's hard to give a date, because if it's me with a hammer, I'm just gonna work every day until, 20 hours a day until it's done. But I'm at the mercy of, how fast the process goes with the people that I hire, which are the.
Do you have contractors you hire to do this, or construction people? Are you right now?
I do. So the one that was kind of headed up the structural stuff, and I'm very happy with the work that he did. And if you see the pictures, everybody that looks at it is very impressed. He had to go to Colombia because his father was having major health issues. So even that inspection, I believe on 10/14, I think he was in Colombia at that time. He's coming back to Miami on Friday. I'm meeting with him on Friday to figure out, are you okay? Do you have to go back to Colombia? Are you okay to finish the project, or do I need to get someone else because now you're too involved with your dad's health issues? So that is a conversation that will happen this Friday. But I mean, as far as the plans, ID set, all of that stuff, I mean, I put all of the ducks in a row that I possibly physically can. I've purchased all the materials that I possibly can, that I know, are needed, to try to prevent any sort of, waiting 3 months or 4 months on some component that's needed. So my desire is as fast as possible, because it's costing me way more. I'm doing overtime, I'm doing extra hours and all sorts of stuff to kind of,
Okay. Does
stay
city
afloat.
want to add to that anything? I see, on September 3rd, he made a request, I have it here, for additional time to comply, and the compliance date was September 10th, so he made a timely request.
Okay. The your permit expires on April 13, 2022.
April when?
April 13th, 2022.
All right, so why don't we, I'm going to extend your compliance date to April 13, 2022. It'll be your new compliance date. If not, there'll be fines running, let me see what was the original fines?
What did you say? I'm sorry.
I'm extending the compliance date to the date that his permit expires. So if not, there'll be fines of $150 a day.
And then are any existing fines vacated, or?
You don't have fines, they never started.
Yeah, they did.
They did?
Oh, wait a minute. I'm writing this down someplace else. I'm so sorry. Yes. Hold on. Wait, let me.
Hey, you've been listening to the other hearings, I see. Well, see, the longer you wait, I guess it's to your interest to be last on the docket.
Fines are running.
Learning the process.
Okay, if the
Fines
fines,
are running. I also sent a 20-day notice.
okay, they started,
They've been running since September the 10th.
okay, I'm gonna vacate them since he did give vacate the fines, since he gave a timely, request for extension.
So I have to release the lien when it comes back.
Yes.
Correct.
Okay.
Thank you. And also, I guess, like, so if the contractors, if they take longer than that amount of time, I guess, are we kind of at the same place again, and I have to show you progress, or?
Yeah, I mean, you know what, you're gonna have to pull another permit, right? So your permit's gonna expire. So I
How
guess
much?
your best, you know, at that point, you have to pull another permit and ask for additional time to comply prior to,
13th,
April 13th.
Right.
But hopefully you won't get yourself in this situation, because it seems like you're moving along.
I'm trying, but yeah, and I've realized, like, I mean, there's only so much I can do.
Yeah, I know.
But also, like, I want to be in compliance with everything.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, there have been opportunities, you know, early on where, you know, the contractor said, oh, we can do it this way. And I said, no, I don't want to do it that way, because it was, you know, that stuff.
Not the best way, right? You
Not
don't
the
want to
safe
cut
way.
corners. You want to do it the best way.
Yeah, I want to be in a safe place,
Absolutely.
you know, so.
Yeah.
Okay, I appreciate that.
All right, well, good luck.
Great, thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Page 13, number 25, SMB 2020-733 for 1501 Collins Avenue. Progress report.
Morning, everyone, again. Damian Gallo from Permit Doctor, 775 17th Street, representing the owners of the Bancroft at 1501 Collins Avenue.
Okay, what's going on?
This is the end of Ocean Drive where it turns into Collins. It's the property that used to be a large kind of congregation court style area where it was like a mall. It's been vacated. The property's completely empty right now. We do have a building permit at the moment, which is for the window openings. We had a meeting with Anna and Chief Maizoso yesterday or the day before, because they're going to encompass on the open revision that we have, the larger scope of work. Chief Maizoso and George Clavijo explained what they would like for life and safety systems, because the building's really going to be brought to shell conditions for future tenant build-outs. It's going to be Class A office on the second floors and up, and then on the ground floor is all commercial retail. So the revision that we have open right now is under review. We've received our first round of comments, and we had a couple meetings this week to address the fire department items. We would expect to have all the comment responses in hand by the end of month and resubmit it at the beginning of the year. And again, this is for the renovation of the entire property of corner of Ocean Drive and Collins Ave.
Okay. So do you want to add anything?
Yes, we do. The violation initially was for a 40-year inspection. We went to the site, saw the second, third, and fourth floor, garage, and so forth. I saw the window permit and whatnot. You did say you have a revision and a permit relating to that same area, to those same areas?
Yes, the entire building. The revisions encompassing all those areas of the
Parking,
building.
garage, and roof as well, right?
Correct, exactly. And everything that's under the 40-year report.
What's that permit number?
RV
RV?
211
Uh-huh.
6507.
Okay, one, if that covers the scope of work, we'll have to research it first, sure. And it has to be linked prior to that. You should have linked it prior to coming out here, so we wouldn't even be here to sign it again.
I believe the
What is
master.
This is RV for the master. What's the master?
The master, I don't have the master here, but I do have it here. Hang on.
We'll research it,
Yeah, it'll be related to that RV.
Related to that.
And that's going to encompass all the repairs required in the 40-year report.
You'll be required also to relate it to the violation and pay any additional fees.
Sure.
Such as, double fees and whatnot.
Right.
Just so you know.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
We're aware. Thank you.
Okay, so basically we should do a progress report in 90 days or 120 days?
120 is probably good because they have other,
Right.
there are other things that need to be done to complete the project or other plans.
Yeah, it's a big project. It'll be a year or so at least before it's all done.
Let's come back on April 14th for progress report.
Okay, great. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thanks, everyone.
One no-show. Page 14, number 27. SMB 21, 959 for 1777 Michigan Avenue. They requested an extension of time to comply. It was not timely. And also, the fines did start running on 6/28/21. I mean, they haven't started running. I still don't have it. And that was supposed to be for June 28/21 at $100 a day.
Okay, so we do have proper service, because I have it here that they signed.
Deny the request would be the city's position.
Yeah. Okay, so proper service, no show, deny the request for extension time.
Okay? So I need that affidavit of noncompliance from building.
That would be correct.
All right, and that concludes our 11 a.m. calendar.
Before we conclude, Your Honor, I had a brief emergency on a mitigation order.
Okay.
If I could read into the record on JF 100000004 and JF 100000009 for 5101 Collins Avenue. These were two fire violations that have been in compliance for quite some time, but they were a part of an additional violation that ended in the number 01. Prior Chief Special Magistrate Abraham Laser had requested that all of the cases be held for mitigation until there was a global settlement of all three cases. In the interim, there was a subordination request that was sent to the city. The city agreed to subordinate the liens. There was a First Amendment to that subordination agreement, which expired earlier this year. I believe it was September 30th. In order to reactivate and continue on with the subordination agreement and draw against the escrows that are being held by Ocean Bank, the parties have agreed to mitigate both fire cases for $22,500. These were in connection with the sprinkler, the annual inspection, and the fire hose connection, and for a total amount of $45,000 payable as a draw against the escrows. The escrows will remain as to the other liens that are on the property, but this way we can reduce some of the outstanding encumbrances on the property, and the fire department has agreed to release the liens in exchange for the payment of $45,000 in relation to these two. Once the order is signed, I will be working on the Second Amendment to present to the city manager for her signature.
Okay, I'll go ahead and approve it.
Okay, thank you. May I approach?
Absolutely.
We done?
We're done? That's it?
We're done. Is that it?
Thank you, guys.
Mr. Rothstein?
Hey.
Okay.